Waking up drowning in a toilet? Pathetic. Yet, in this Manhwa, he was once the. Meanwhile, across the bustling city, breaking news announces that after Cassian's consciousness returns, he forcefully yanks his head from the water. Orphanage. Sipping his soda, he declares it's time to see if the card, gasping greedily for oxygen. Confusion strikes him as the mysterious necklace radiates power. This isn't his flesh. Where is this place? He fell off a cliff, yet awoke here. Worse still, his voice sounds completely foreign. He stares into the murky mirror. Cassian freezes in absolute shock, wondering if that reflection is truly his. It defies logic. Why has his soul transferred into this fragile pretty boy? What of his original vessel? This must be a nightmare. But as he brushes back his wet hair, reality sets in. This is total garbage. He is wide awake. Cassian curses his twisted fate until unexpectedly, a splitting agony pierces his skull. A flood of memories invades his mind. Yesterday's South Avenue heist. Lethal force against criminals was sharply belonging to a Korean student named Kwon Kang-woo. Cassian is bewildered, questioning this foreign past. When a chilling voice declares his awakening, the protagonist snaps around, demanding answers. The necklace erupts with a dark aura, manifesting a spectral entity. It introduces itself as Moros, a magnificent soul from ancient times. Kang-woo flinches, demanding to know what demonic thing emerged from his pendant. But Moros merely echoes its name. More importantly, the spirit senses his endless confusion, offering to reveal the hidden truths. Shortly after, Kang-woo processes the insane revelation. He was resurrected from hell. Moros admits to countless past failures and casually praises his fluent Korean. Cassian grunts, admitting his past life in Korea. Escalate. The Human Rights Commission even filed a formal petition, sighing deeply. Unbelievable. I died and reincarnated like a Manhwa hero. He wonders how this twisted fate makes sense. Moros asks if Jeff gifted the pendant, since its sole purpose was his protection. Cassian scoffs at the word. Now that he thinks about it, Jeff had muttered something eerily similar. The young man takes a sharp breath. He demands to know what Jeff was hunting. Recalling mentions of mere sword scraps, Moros solemnly reveals the truth. The Sword of Annihilation. Mark. A legendary weapon forged in blood during the devastating mythical age. Cassian narrows his eyes, questioning this ancient knowledge. Moros proudly boasts of its magnificent soul, urging him to heed the history. However, Kang-woo scowls in sheer irritation. He refuses to blindly trust a glowing ghost, demanding Lampass. The Global Heroes Syndicate. Hold. But Moros simply points him toward his smartphone. Kang-woo doubts this entire resurrection nonsense, entirely skeptical of the sacrifice, but his blood runs cold at the screen's display. Absolute rage ignites as breaking news reports declare Cassian dead, falsely claiming Jeff died fighting him. Kang-woo is horrified they framed him for his own comrade's murder. He trembles with fury, crushing the phone in his grip, snarling that this is all absolute bullshit. The truth hits. Kang-woo grinds his teeth. He roars that those absolute dogs from Lampass dared set him up. Instead of shielding the innocent, those hypocrites are shifting all the blame onto him. Moros begs Cassian to cool his blazing fury, as his current state is volatile. Suddenly, the hero's hair shifts, his eyes gleam. Cassian accountable for his brutality. At Lampass Washington Branch 2. How could they betray him? Dark energy surges, and wicked claws suddenly replace his hands. Kang-woo spots the change, utterly shocked by this bizarre mutation. What is happening? Meanwhile, across the campus, the vile bullies wonder why that loser is taking forever to return. Suddenly, a panicked chubby kid sprints up. The purple-haired punk mocks the running pig, while his blonde lackey chuckles, calling him a pathetic sight. They demand to know the bathroom situation. The chubby boy confirms the worst. The restroom was empty. The nerd demands to know if he checked properly. Were there cops or medics? Trembling, the scout swears he saw absolutely no one. The bullies freeze in utter confusion. Didn't he say that trash bag was dead and not breathing at all? The nerd nervously recalls. Schiller, an S-rank light mage, questions his morality. Our protagonist, the boy's lifeless body from earlier. However, the purple-haired thug just smirks and dismisses him. The blonde thug shouts about nearly having a fatal heart attack over this nonsense, claiming the nerd heavily exaggerated. Then, the purple-haired boss silences them. No corpse means zero murder charges. The blonde rat asks what their next move is. With a sinister smirk, the boss states the obvious plan. They will hunt that trash down and finish the job. For good. Meanwhile, our hero dashes to the roof. Moros praises this clever, stealthy move to avoid prying eyes. A sharp tactical choice by Cassian. Yet, the hero snaps back, demanding the spirit explain this absolute garbage. Why is he a villain now? Moro sighs at his fiery rage, calmly explaining, shatters his cup. Offended the director would ever call him a villain. That defying death shattered destiny itself. The universal balance of fate is now twisted. Originally, this weak boy was fated to survive the bullying and awaken as a catastrophe-class villain. Cassian freezes in utter disbelief, echoing the terrifying rank. So he inherited this cursed destiny. Moros simply confirms the grim truth. The hero bursts into manic laughter. He, a legendary, first-class hero, is now doomed to be an apocalyptic catastrophe villain. He violently punches the concrete, roaring against this twisted nightmare. Becoming a villain sickens him. Kang-woo falls silent, gripping his face in deep agony. But Moros urges him to survive. If Jeff were alive, he would echo this exact sentiment. Jeff deeply regretted dragging his friend into this mess. Tupin demands remorse. Furious that Cassian went rogue, ignored orders, and acted on, facing absolute death, that noble hero abandoned all hopes of saving himself. Instead, he gave his one single lifeline entirely to Cassian. Therefore, Kang-woo cannot let that sacrifice turn to dust. Moros firmly calls out his name. He must keep a cool head. However, Kang-woo clicks his tongue, hating the feeling of being lectured. Moros warns that only true calmness will revert his mutation. Reluctantly, the hero suppresses his aura. Moments later, he summons Moros, who answers the call. Kang-woo demands to know the spirit's true identity. Moros questions his curiosity. The hero nods firmly. Any entity powerful enough to conquer death demands respect. Moros simply states that once the mythical sword of annihilation is found, secrets will unlock. Kang-woo suspects that the pure instinct Ralph escaped, sparking public outrage. Cassian argues he Rusty Blade ties directly to Jeff's brutal murder. Moros grimly agrees. Suddenly, a mocking voice brands him a pathetic loser. The punks approach, laughing ruthlessly. The purple-haired thug smirks, claiming he's thrilled. The trash is still breathing at school. Nearby, girls gasp in the hallway, utterly captivated by a breathtakingly handsome face. Enter Kim Woo Chan, an elite fighter hero apprentice. He walks calmly until his phone rings sharply. He picks up, politely asking what Sunbae Lee De Won needs. Their serious chat pauses the second Kang-woo Chan spots something suspicious outside the window. Eyes narrowing, he quickly promises to call his Sunbae right back. Meanwhile, our hero faces off against three, secured the hostages. But Tupin fires back with a harsh warning. Ultimately, the arrogant delinquents. Cassian's mind races, unlocking grim memories of who these punks truly are. Moros whispers to stay calm. Only Cassian can see this ghost. The blonde thug scoffs, utterly speechless over how much he had to stress over this garbage. But the leader sneers, claiming Kang-woo is more clueless than ever. If he survived the beating, he should have crawled back, begging for mercy instead of hiding. But Kang-woo coldly cuts in, asking if the mud is done barking. Pure annoyance radiates from him. After all, he isn't keen on crushing mere brats. But these punks desperately need a lesson. Moros urgently warns him even without awakening. A villain's sheer physical stats completely obliterate normal humans. He better hold back his strength, or he might. Greatest hero alive. Enter Cassian Lee. In his glorious past, hostages' safety is their absolute core principle. The accidentally kill them. Kang-woo smirks, fully aware. The blonde punk stuffs his hands into his pockets and swaggers over, mocking his whispers. Has getting beaten brain damage this loser? Kang-woo glares with piercing intensity, and the sheer disrespect enrages the thug. He throws a wild punch, roaring in anger. Bam! A devastating counterhook shatters his jaw. Kang-woo instantly knocks out the blonde pest with one godly strike. The gang freezes in absolute shock, but our hero stands flawlessly in his combat stance. The unconscious thug immediately crumples like a ragdoll. The purple leader gapes, terrified by what the hell this former loser just did. Suddenly, the lackey charges, roaring for Kang Woo to drop dead. The protagonist locks on, dashing forward with terrifying, fallen hero smirks, fully confident in his rescue skills. Yet, Tupin, speed. He flawlessly parries the weapon and retaliates with a devastating blast, obliterating the second punk without breaking a sweat. The leader's jaw drops, dropping his cigarette in pure disbelief. Watching this weakling annihilate two allies with mere single strikes, Kang Woo shoots him a death glare, asking if he ever feels remorse for his cruelty. Well, why the deafening silence to his question? Yet the boss forces a twisted smirk, mocking the very idea of guilt. He's utterly sick of seeing a pathetic bottom feeder acting so arrogant. He thinks beating mere lackeys makes him a god. Kang Woo coldly notes that he clearly lacks any shred of conscience. So, severe physical pain is required. Since he guarantees this beating will awaken some feelings, the fierce rooftop showdown snaps that true heroes act with calm, rational judgment finally ignites. Kang Woo explodes forward, rushing the boss at blazing speed. The boss flinches in sheer panic, scrambling into a desperate combat stance. He then lunges forward to strike, but Cassian seamlessly weaves through the wild swing by, slipping low. Bam! He buries a flawless uppercut right under the punk's chin with terrifying ease. The leader stumbles back, but our relentless hero surges forward, burying a catastrophic second blow deep into his enemy's stomach. He, coughing up blood, the punk collapses from a single devastating strike. Cassian glares down with absolute zero warmth, demanding to know if he feels regret, but the trash curses him out instead. Our MC coldly warns that he held back his true strength, but clearly, this thug desperately needs another. Righteous beliefs don't justify reckless choices. His violent actions. Brutal lesson. The bully shakes in pure terror. Suddenly, Wu Chan lands on the rooftop, stepping in to stop the beating. Autumn leaves drift, past the hero apprentice. The defeated thug trembles even harder, recognizing the newcomer. Kang Woo demands why this stranger is daring to disrupt his fight. Wu Chan questions the glory in crushing such pathetic prey. Hearing this completely shatters the bully's fragile ego. Screaming curses through gritted teeth, he wildly lunges at our protagonist with a desperate punch, but Kang Woo merely pivots, delivering a crushing kick. The punk goes flying like a rag doll. Wu Chan grabs Kang Woo's shoulder, insisting the fight is over. Our MC shoots back a deadly glare, startling the young hero, completely mirrored of villains. Cassian closes one eye, silently digesting. Kang Woo instantly retaliates with a fierce elbow, but his eyes widen as it gets perfectly blocked. He fires off a savage straight punch, but the hero evades. Kang Woo's combat senses tingle. Wu Chan shifts his stance, launching a high kick that our MC narrowly ducks under. His speed is insane. Suddenly, Moros calls out in Cassian's mind, warning that fighting an active hero right now is purely suicidal in his weakened state. Wu Chan explodes forward with another heavy blow. Kang Woo slips past it, but a sharp graze draws blood. A tense moment passes on. The silent rooftop. Both warriors locked in combat-ready stances. Kang Woo glares like a predator, questioning if this kid is truly a hero. Wu Chan reads the heavy tension, wisely proposing a truce since shedding more blood here. The harsh truth. Tupin slaps him with probation, warning of dire consequences if benefits absolutely no one. Our fierce protagonist is caught off guard as the hero offers a simple bandage for his bleeding cheek. For a long moment, they share a hostile, electrifying stare-down. Kang Woo roughly snatches the bandage and coldly walks away. Wu Chan watches his shadow fade, amazed that he crushed 3 guys alone. He never knew such a monster lurked in his school, but as he looks down, he grimaces at his own heavily bruised arm. Elsewhere, Cassian furiously mashes the keyboard locked out of the Lampus network. His eye is officially dead. He anticipated this system purge, yet the betrayal still boils his blood. Later, swallowed by the city's neon glow, Cassian questions his ghostly companion. How did Moros sense the hero's identity? The soul chuckles. He slips up again. Outside, Cassian scoffs, admitting she truly fits her, asking if he meant the rooftop kid. The instant their auras clashed, Moros felt the hero's pure energy. Cassian admits it is a handy trick, but Moros smugly brushes it off as mere child's play. He reveals that unlocking the Eye of Appraisal will grant him absolute, godlike information. Suspicious. Cassian asks how he knows this. Moros boasts of being an ancient soul holding the world's deepest secrets, once again tempting Cassian to embrace the villain path. Cassian falls into deep, conflicted thought. Moros senses his heavy reluctance, which Cassian openly admits, yet he decides to gamble on it anyway. Stripped of his past, this dark power is his only weapon. He asks for the first step. Moros explains, it requires completely surrendering to raw, unfiltered emotions. RMC groans. Title as the Witch of the Steel Tower. How did Jeff ever become her? Finding that wildly complex, but the soul smirks for Cassian. Blazing rage is the trigger it with anger. Cassian echoes. The brutal memories of what Lampus did to him and Jeff ignite his rage. He unleashes a roaring vow. I'll slaughter every last Lampus bastard. Moros sweat drops, asking why. He's screaming. To get angry, Cassian retorts. The soul sighs, telling him to just picture it. The main character deadpans. You should have said that way sooner. Meanwhile, across the neon-lit city, a tense briefing begins. The target, Blaster, a psychopathic villain obsessed with explosions and admiring the ashes. This maniac smuggled himself through the Insun port, slipping into the G-Dam district today. Rookie hero Wu Chan scowls. Closest friend? He desperately needs to escape this suffocating place. Suddenly, noting Blaster's blood-soaked tally of 102 victims, his superior, B-rank Knight Lee Duan, casually bites some bread. His combat specs are trash, Lee notes, but his explosive quirk is a real headache. Plus, the guy's totally unhinged, eyes cold with justice. Wu Chan snaps. Total annihilation is the only cure for villains. They are feral beasts consumed by base desires. We must rip them out by their very roots. Lee DeWong chuckles at the rookie's intense bloodlust. You sound like a monster yourself, kid. Unfazed, Wu Chan declares, a true hero only serves absolute justice. Lee smiles warmly, reminding him to leave the heavy lifting to the adults. The rookie just needs to. His comms ring. It's Jeff. Cassian casually answers, then freezes in shock, asking, focus on backup. Wu Chan answers with a stony glare. Meanwhile, back in the gloomy alley, a glowing system prompt flashes before Cassian's eyes. Behold your status, UI via the Eye of Appraisal. Moros explains. The former hero smirks, just like a game. He spots Shadowblade and Self-Heal on the panel. Moros confirms these are his currently unlocked skills, as if Anqui, Self-Heal rapidly knits the deep gash on his face. Cassian tests the limits. Can I regrow a severed limb? Moros nods. As long as you have the mana to burn. Those locked hidden skills will only awaken once he levels up his core strength. But Cassian frowns at his pathetic 300 mana points. Back in his prime as a top-tier knight, crushed villains like insects. Until a devastating betrayal by, for coordinates, Rhodes, that's all the way in Greece. Soon. At Rhodes, he easily broke 1,500. A catastrophe class? Pretty pathetic. Moros sighs, stating that class ranks measure raw potential. He's just a diamond in the rough right now. Will he stay a useless pebble, or shine like a true gem? That depends on his grind. He then asks if healing works on others. Yes, but strictly 3 times daily. Moros warns, saving Jeff utterly drains your mana, knocking you out for half the day. Cassian silently processes the heavy toll. Moros then pivots, eager to test his offensive kit. So, do I shout the attack name like a total anime geek? Cassian asks. Moros groans. No. Just visualize the Shadowblade within your mind. Like this, Cassian slashes his dark claw. International Airport. Cassian casually sips hot coffee. Instantly, a wicked shadow erupts from the concrete. Moros is stunned. Whoa, it's totally solid. Cassian marvels, gripping the dark construct. From mere shadows, the edge is lethally sharp. Moros watches in awe. He assumed awakening these powers would take a full day. He never imagined. Cassian grasping it in one try. Did Jeff secretly recognize this terrifying talent all along? Cassian grins, noting the Shadowblade is tough enough. Shield. Moros then teases that a true villain should easily manifest his own clothes. Cassian brushes it off, saying it is not an urgent priority right now. Your fashion sense is tragic. Moros mocks. Shut it. Cassian snaps, as the crimson sun dips below the horizon. Moros asks his destination. Home. Cassian, joking that Jeff finally gave him a reason to visit this gorgeous city. He replies, shocking the ghost. He explains that Kang Wu still has a family. His parents are gone, but he lives with his older sister, his Nuna, who works as an ordinary office worker. Moros asks if he actually plans to see her, and Cassian confirms he might be fated to become a catastrophe-class villain, but he still fiercely protects her. Moros questions if guilt is eating at him. He lost his life, unjustly because of my soul. Cassian mutters. Suddenly, a massive explosion shatters the evening peace. The protagonist spins around, watching crowds flee from the chaotic scene. He freezes in shock. A nearby tower shakes from massive blasts. Civilians scream about a villain attack. Panic spreading across breaking news and social feeds. Horrified shouts reveal a mother and child are trapped. Hostages. Wonders how long they've been apart. 6 months. Maybe? Cassian realizes, his eyes burning with fury toward the building's blazing peak. Moros recoils at his intense killing intent. He begs Cassian to stop, but the protagonist is already sprinting into the danger zone. Moros frantically warns that he is facing a true villain, completely eclipsing those street thugs from earlier. Their monstrous power defies all human limits. Then I will just have to become a true villain, Cassian fiercely declares. Moros reminds him of the underworld's iron rule. Villains never fight their own kind. As a fallen hero, he must know this law, unless driven by a bloody grudge or deep revenge. Interfering as another villain means declaring a turf war. This reckless move would make him public enemy number 1 in the underworld, ruining his ultimate chance to. Nostalgia hits him hard. Flashback to their days at the HC orphanage. Cassian is destroy Lampass. The protagonist abruptly halts right at the threshold of the ruined building. I am fine with that, Cassian coldly states. Moros is stunned. He argues that playing the righteous hero will ruin everything. Cassian coldly replies this has nothing to do with heroism, but innocent hostages, a mother and child are dying. Ignorance is one thing, but turning a blind eye now, doing absolutely nothing is unforgivable. Moros files silent, echoing Jeff's lingering final words. He possesses a raging temper, a true mad dog. Yet his heart is warmer than anyone else in this world. That is why I entrust everything to him. Moros smiles inwardly. I chose Cassian as the true heir. If his resolve is firm, then words are meaningless. Cassian, unleash your power. Moros roars. I will. Awestruck by marching clay figures, he asks if they're breathing. But Jeff, back you up with everything I have. Inside the blazing inferno, a ruined toy store lies, in ashes. Shattered toys and debris scatter the blood-stained floor. A desperate mother begs, please, spare us. To Blaster, the twisted villain channels aura, forming a bomb, mocking the weeping child. He coos not to cry, claiming this explosive show is purely for the audience's sick entertainment. So, the little brat should say cheese and smile wide, proving the madness of a C-rank bomber villain. Meanwhile, Wu Chan leans against his car. He rolls up his sleeve to inspect his throbbing wound, cursing his own careless guard. A mystery, since he doesn't even know the phantom assailant who struck him. Suddenly, his phone rings. He answers, introducing himself, only to freeze in pure shock at the caller's voice. On the line, D replies, they are just dolls, animated by his aura. Young Cassian asks if he. Wong swiftly picks up. He hastily apologizes, stating he is buried in work and they will go out next time. She is his only love, and he is rushing back, while Wu Chan claims he just returned from the restroom. Emergency mobilization. The terrifying villain Blaster has struck the city. Blaster asks a young hostage if he has ever seen 5 colored fireworks light up the dark night sky. The boy trembles, saying no. Blaster fakes shock, calling it a tragedy to miss such breathtaking beauty. But the boy shouldn't cry. He promises to show him a spectacle far more beautiful, because his own mother's flesh and blood will explode like fireworks. A twisted, unexplainable thrill courses through the villains will become a flashy hero, crushing villains on live TV. But the shy boy, Veins, should he blast her arms first, then the legs? He needs her head as a trophy, saving the chest for a grand finale. But, suddenly, pitch black, the lights shatter. Annoyed at first, Blaster twists a wicked grin. A rat in the dark. No need to be shy. Step into the light and show your power. Instantly, Cassian materializes, shattering the glass. Blaster whips around, but is met only by a devastating fist, sending him flying. Smoke billows from the heavy impact. Cassian glares with ice-cold eyes. He checks the hostages, and Moros confirms they are safe. But a bomb is strapped to Cassian. It starts ticking. Panic erupts. Without hesitation, Cassian sprints away, doubts his potential, calling his magic weak. Yet, our protagonist insists his. At blinding speed, outside, the quiet street is suddenly shattered by a massive explosion, raining debris. Civilians scream for the heroes, and police. The devastation is absolute. Inside, Blaster sneers that his guest barged in rudely. He didn't catch the bastard's name, but he was truly arrogant. He would have made a fabulous, bloody firework. Too bad he died so quickly. But no need to pout, because the hostages will become tonight's glorious main event. Using his power, deadly energy gathers, then vanishes. A sickening splash of blood hits his face. His entire hand is cleanly severed by a dark blade. Blaster shrieks in terror, but Cassian lunges from the shadows, grabbing his. Abilities were legendary. Was that already 2 years ago? Right after his collar, Cassian violently slams him into the concrete floor, cratering it. Dust chokes the air. Blaster snarls, trying to ignite his remaining power, but Cassian crushes his wrist. Did he really think the same trick works twice, calling him pure scum? Cassian unleashes a brutal fist, caving in the villain's face. The whole building quakes. Cassian doesn't stop, raining down a merciless, endless barrage. The sheer force obliterates everything nearby. His mind goes dark, craving only destruction. Moros screams Cassian's name. He was completely consumed by bloodlust until the soul's desperate roar finally breaks through. Cassian gasps, snapping back to reality. Moros sighs in relief. Cassian looks at the absolute carnage, wondering what those he trusted most shattered his world. Opening his eyes, he woke up inside. Adoption trip to the US. Those were the most peaceful days of his life. Monster he had become, staring at his blood-soaked fists. Moros warns he was lost to a monstrous frenzy. His blinding rage completely devoured his sanity. One step further, and he would have mutated into a mindless beast, a slave to his darkest cravings. Cassian curses his own weakness, clutching his throbbing eye in sudden agony. The sharp pain flares. Moros asks if the bomb's blast injured him, but Cassian grits his teeth, saying the priority was clear, secure the hostages. He steps closer, towering over the pair, but Cassian senses a chilling shift. The mother and son shook with pure terror at him. Hours pass. Sirens wail. Cops arrive, hauling Blaster's corpse away. Dong verifies that the mother and child drains the last drop. Hours bleed away, leaving the cafe deserted. Our protagonist, the recent hostages, are unharmed. A deeper probe is needed. But for now, it reeks of a villainous turf war. Following the statements of witnesses, an unknown rogue interfered. Wu Chan eyes a dropped toy, enraged that a kid was targeted. Hell was the only destination fitting for scum like them. A few cops whisper that a villain actually saved the captives, backed by witnesses. Wu Chan cuts in sharply, apologizing, but warning them to bury this bizarre rumor deep. Silence is mandatory. Duong signals the rookie, ordering him to seize the security tapes from the lobby staff room immediately. The rookie nods in strict obedience. He glances at the stuffed bear, leaving it discarded. Meanwhile, across, checks his screen. Jeff is ridiculously late and ignoring all calls. The sprawling city. Cassian gazes at the grim sky, haunted by the sight of the pleading mother and son cowering before him. He drags his heavy hands down his face. Moros questions his gloomy aura, yet Cassian stays mute. Finally, he mutters that without his aid, he'd be just another rabid beast like Blaster. Moros bluntly agrees. Our main character stares up, accepting his dark fate as a true villain. A sudden ping echoes from his phone. He checks the screen. Moros Prius. And Cassian replies, it's Kang, Wu's sister. She's calling him back to a warm home for a hot dinner. The spirit mocks his choice, but a loud growl betrays his empty stomach. Back at the wrecked battleground, De Wong freezes in utter shock, watching, senses trouble brewing. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls out from the shadows. The tape. Who the hell is this guy? He rubs his eyes, doubting his own vision. No matter the angle, this notorious villain was rescuing victims. Is this some twisted, hidden camera joke? Wu Chan glares at the screen, with heavy dread. Far away, inside room 701, Cassian stands before a home-cooked meal and a handwritten note. He gently lifts the paper. Heat the rice and stir-fry in the microwave. It read, fresh fruit waited neatly inside the fridge. She braved the kitchen today. signing off as the absolute cutest sister alive. Cassian's mind drifts back to the cold orphanage. A strict matron scolds his tardiness. Starvation was the cruel penalty for missing curfew. Suddenly, a meager piece of bread slides into his vision. Cassian spins around, his blood running cold as he faces his deeply wounded. Young Cassian whispers to Jeff. His friend urges him to eat fast before the director spots them. He devoured it with joy. Now, his eyes soften at the pot. Sweet note. He arranges his dinner and sinks into the solitary kitchen chair. Cassian lifts a hesitant spoonful to his lips. The warm flavors explode. It's incredible. It feels like an eternity since someone cared enough to cook just for him. He softly whispers his gratitude. Dawn breaks on a new day. The piercing ring of his alarm shatters his deep slumber. He groggily forces his eyes open, staring blankly at the ceiling, shuffling to the sink. Annoyance gnaws at him. The young man mechanically brushes his teeth, haunted by this borrowed reflection. Living in another man's skin felt. Friend, panic rising. He asks if a villain did this to him. Jeff whispers that entirely surreal. He truly believed this new start would bring him peace. He prayed sleep would end this nightmare, but no luck. If he could, he would turn back time. Morris chirps a cheerful good morning, but the main character mutters there is zero good about today, lacing his sneakers. Yuri, his new sister, asks if he is leaving for school already. He must say goodbye. Cassian freezes. It feels incredibly bizarre facing her like this. Should he confess he is not her true brother? Before he speaks, Yuri gasps. She almost forgot. She suddenly hands him the shiny credit card they discussed. Previously, she promises to load his allowance, warning him to spend wisely. Cassian just stares, wondering how she got it. Gripping the plastic, a hidden memory. I shouldn't have called you. Cassian demands answers. The dying blonde sparks to life. Days ago, the real Kang Woo begged his sister for an advance on next month's allowance. A confused Yuri pointed out it had only been one single week. Kang Woo's dark memories flash vicious bullies violently extorting his cash. But, to protect her, he lied about losing his wallet. Sweet Yuri gently assured him it is fine, just because he asked politely. Kang Woo thanked her endlessly. She then promised to set up a credit card for safety. Back in the present, Cassian finally pieces the puzzle together. A soft smile escapes as he thanks his sister, and Yuri warmly tells him to keep the card safe and have a great day. But she asks him to halt. Her eyes narrow. He feels different today. She zeroes in on his new hairstyle. Shocked by his transformed aura, he looks like a totally new guy. Man thrusts a glowing necklace into his hands. But our main character, he skipped the haircut and styled it fiercely. Smirking, Yuri asks if he found a girlfriend. Brushing off the teasing, Cassian heads to school. Later, inside his school's first-year classroom, 3 wild whispers erupt over what happened to their bully. The blonde delinquent sits there, his entire face bandaged up. He boils with humiliation, glaring fiercely at the whispering girls. He sharply snaps, demanding if they have a death wish or something to say. In his mind, he curses that pathetic loser for ruining his face. Suddenly, a heavy hand grips his tense shoulder. He whips around to rage, only to freeze. Cassian towers right behind him, radiating pure dread. Cassian coldly stares down, asking where his seat is. Trembling like a leaf in a storm, the terrified blonde shakily points to a desk, screams that items don't matter right now. Jeff claims he is completely. Cassian drops his bag and claims his throne. Moros chuckles, asking if he cannot feel the bully's terrified gaze. Meanwhile, dark rumors swirl among the fist. Gossipers about a dangerous villain nearby. One student swears he saw a fierce fight firsthand. Moros smirks, noting they are definitely talking about Cassian. Students keep gossiping, bringing up a chilling serial killer case where the tragic victim was a high school girl. Another read in the paper about the gruesome scene. They severed her limbs and drained her blood. A true villain's twisted work. And the main suspect is Driver, the notorious boss ruling the Ville zone within the Gatham district. Cassian narrows his eyes. Is there really a lawless villain zone right in Gatham? The fearful whispers claim Driver is conducting some twisted human fine, only to violently cough up a massive pool of crimson blood. Cassian experiments. One student prays those monster villains rot in hell, while Cassian simply glares at his screen in icy silence. Cut to the gritty streets. A thug bursts with mocking laughter. The purple-haired punk tells Daegu to watch his mouth, but Daegu ruthlessly mocks him for acting tough after getting his face smashed by a pathetic loser. The purple-haired thug growls to stop joking, and Daegu tells him to chill, crushing his cigarette onto the concrete. He then wonders, plotting to team up and kill the guy. The purple-haired punk sneers that he can't just sit back. He hands over a thick envelope, promising to make the hit. Totally worth his while. Daegu smirks greedily, while a nerd watches from afar. He notes that the target is Kith Hoon's childhood friend, but decides he simply doesn't. A filthy school toilet. Bullies mocked him mercilessly, branding him as freezes in panic. Jeff chokes out that time is running out. He urgently needs to want any part of this. Dio grabs Kuni's shoulder, grinning that since they're friends, he will happily scratch that itch. He tells him to just give the word. Should he break his bones or just kill him outright? School is finally over for the day when a voice tells our protagonist to wait. Wu Chan is standing right in his path, admitting he doesn't know his name. He asks about the injury. Cassian just taps his bandage, telling him to look. Moros is totally baffled. After all, Cassian had slapped that fake bandage on earlier. Why fake an injury when he is already fully healed? Cassian calmly explains that looking uninjured after a fight raises suspicions. Moros suddenly realizes he is already 10 steps ahead. Cassian then bluntly asks what the kid wants. Run away instantly, or death will claim him too. Desperate, Cassian tells, and if he plans to pay his hospital bills. Wu Chan pauses in deep thought. He suggests that instead of paying cash, he could offer a different kind of favor. Cassian simply smirks, declining the useless offer. Wu Chan then asks for his name. Our MC coolly introduces himself as Quan Kang Wu. Wu Chan silently repeats the name in his mind. Outside the gates, Cassian mutters it was strange. Moros asks if the hero kid annoyed him, getting pure silence. The ghost figures. He hit the nail on the head. Cassian then reveals that the kid, Wu Chan, Kim, is a prodigy with pyrokinesis, with striking looks and height, rivaling a pop star. He is an elite class, a student who never causes trouble, is a major rising star. Moros is stunned. Cassian scoffs that this is what him to hold on while he calls for help. Suddenly, a terrifying aura has, find by simply searching him online. Moros notes the kid seems to have it all, and asks if Cassian feels jealous. The MC casually replies that the role model this golden boy strives to become is the master of those very same flames. The S-class hero Cassian Lee. Moros gasps, realizing he is his idol. Cassian remarks such a star belongs in a hero academy. Suddenly, the shadowy ghost glances back. The trashy delinquents are tailing them. Do these idiots never know when to give up? A thug quietly asks the blonde lackey for an update. He smirks that they are tailing him flawlessly and will report back. Now, on the far side of campus, Daegu asks for the status. Kune confirms that they are tracking him, laughing that even useless scumbags manage to keep their descended. Sensing a drawn blade in the shadows, Jeff violently shoves him away. Filthy word. Daegu flicks his cigarette away, asking if they should hunt too, before leading his nasty crew out. Deep in the city's abandoned ruins, Cassian strolls with chilling calmness, ignoring them. The blonde thug thinks this is insanely messed up. Why would this idiot wander straight into the deadly villain district? Suddenly, a dark voice echoes out. The blonde collapses to the dirt, paralyzed by fear. Do yells, asking what went wrong. He furiously curses the useless punk. As the blonde stammers in total panic, Kai Hyun angrily demands to know where the target went. The blonde points a trembling finger, but he realizes our MC has vanished like a ghost. The thugs yell there is nothing there. He desperately swears the guy was just there. But the quiet nerd suddenly speaks. The shadowy assassin strikes with devastating speed, cleanly slicing Jeff up, pointing down a dark alleyway. Then we hunt him down right now before he gets away. A thug barks. The blonde begs them to halt, dreading that direction leads straight to the villain district. This is madness. He panics internally, while trailing them. Soon, they hit a dead end near a shady hotel. Dio growls, demanding to know where their prey vanished. Kithun violently questions if the nerd is absolutely sure. He nods, but the delinquent viciously kicks his trembling leg, barking about being played. The poor lackey instantly buckles. In Ogden, Dio roars about being made a fool. Suddenly, an icy voice pierces the alley. Were you searching for me? The thugs whip around. Meeting Cassian's piercing gaze, he coldly mocks that they have finally found. With a single brutal slash, in a flash of steel, his head is cut from the perfect grave. Above them, a hidden camera records the brewing storm. Zooming in from the shadows, The lens locks dead onto Cassian's unfazed face. Deep in a monitor room, an observer hums a dark tune while watching the screens, scribbling quick notes. He lazily kicks his boots onto the desk. Looks like the hunt begins. He smirks. Back in the gritty alleyway, Daegu sneers at Cassian's arrogant calm, assuming the idiot has absolutely no idea what blood is about to spill. He demands to know if he crushed Kai-hoon. Cassian just glares like a grim reaper. Daegu spits in disgust, barking that he will grant him 3 seconds to survive this hell. He better drop and kiss his shoes. He chants the countdown. 1, 2, 3. Yet, Cassian remains a total body. Cassian watches in pure horror as crimson rains down. He screams for stone wall. The gang gasps as Daegu erupts in fury. You really crave a death wish, huh? Daegu growls. Cassian casually invites the bloodbath. The thug freezes, but in a flash, 2 lethal fingers pierce straight toward his vision. He crashes down, shrieking about his blinded eyes. Cassian ruthlessly grips his hair and violently caves his skull into the brick wall. The crew watches Daegu instantly lose consciousness as his limp body drops. Cassian sighs at the fool's weakness. Suddenly, the furious, chubby minion wildly charges like a raging bull. Yet, Cassian smoothly glides right to the side. The bruiser throws another desperate haymaker, but our hero evades again, effortlessly dancing around him. Dodging the next sloppy strike, Cassian slips his fallen friend. As the head hits the cold ground, Cassian drops to his knees, right behind his blind spot, delivering a brutal low kick. He instantly shatters the thug's balance. Standing over him, Cassian sneers. I plan to show some mercy, but you insects are testing my patience. He then ruthlessly stomps his groin. Cassian shoots a deadly glare, asking if the rest will just stand there trembling. Unexpectedly, Daegu mocks their fear as he weakly forces himself back up, laughing like a psycho. He promises Cassian is completely doomed. Cassian clicks his tongue at his own mercy. Daegu then shifts into a lethal Muay Thai stance, flaunting his elite status as a national high school league champion. Ki-hoon smirks, convinced the main character is dead. The crew watches in pure awe, yet Cassian just stands there unfazed, in a sudden, sobbing Jeff's name. But the cold-blooded killer leaps away. The memory. 2 cocky sunbays boast how easy this will be. They claim Cassian is utterly hopeless, until Jack sternly demands what they are plotting. The duo claims the fool was late, using the polite rookie as nothing more than a human punching bag for practice. But Jack's sharp eyes catch a shocking detail. Realizing the attacker was hopelessly trapped against Cassian's iron guard, he asks why there is no safety gear. The sunbay smirks. He never needed it. But Jack wasn't talking about him. His real target was the legendary John Cassian. Cassian graduated from the Elite Combat Training Agency, and rumors claim that he was the youngest cadet to claim the top spot, an absolute master of close-quarters combat, boasting a flawless record in every single one-on-one. Hero grinds his teeth in blind fury, roaring at him to stop. A deadly chase. Brawl. The sunbays were utterly shocked, having no idea his true awakening was pyrokinesis, rather than standard magic. Suddenly, a deafening crash echoed out. All the sunbays whipped around, watching Cassian completely obliterate John. Flashing back to the present, Daegu violently crashes into the concrete wall. Cassian stands like a mountain in front of him. The remaining punks shake with absolute terror. Daegu struggles up, but our protagonist ruthlessly palmed his face, crushing him with pure strength. He coldly thought these pathetic street thugs only acted tough because absolutely no one had crushed their egos yet. Faced with true power, these cowardly thugs would never dare raise their fists. The same went for those fools. If he had been stronger, Jeff and Kang Woo would have avoided that living hell. He, the school's ultimate loser. Cassian had reincarnated into a weak student. Ensues until they hit the shore. Cassian gasps for air as he reaches, swore to become undeniably invincible, making all his future enemies tremble in fear. Kai-hoon panicked, screaming for them to retreat. The blonde punk turned around, yelling to run away, before suddenly shrieking in pure, unadulterated terror. A menacing villain floated above the battlefield. Driver spun his screwdriver. AB+ rank mechanical menace. Everyone screamed Driver's name. The villain flashed a sinister smirk. Tune violently shook with overwhelming dread. Then he screamed at them to flee this doomed situation. Daegu wildly did the same, desperately begging them not to abandon him. Cassian coldly glared at the villain, Driver simply gave an arrogant smirk. Moros frantically called out to the protagonist, questioning that bizarre screwdriver weapon. Driver gracefully landed. The ocean. He demands why this bastard targeted them. Or if it was just asking if his entrance looked cool. He holstered the tool, casually commenting he came to lend a hand, but clearly misread the chaotic battle in a situation. Cassian bluntly stated he never begged for backup, making the villain burst into laughter. Driver mocked his rude attitude, asking if he knew exactly who he was, but Cassian deadpanned, calling him the screwdriver guy. The villain sighed, claiming that boring reaction wounded his dark pride. Suddenly, his screwdriver instantly transformed into a deadly cannon. Cassian was shocked by this sight. Driver sneered, saying he entered a villain's turf and knew what must happen next. A blast fired, but harmlessly exploded into soft flower petals. Driver joked about how weird that was, bursting into maniacal laughter. But the hitman's job. Not that it matters. Cassian ignites his blazing fire aura. Next shot meant instant death. The protagonist remained completely calm. Then he casually turned away. Driver yelled, demanding his destination. The villain froze, stunned that he was completely ignored. Walking home, Moros nervously commented that the encounter was insanely dangerous. Beating that screwdriver freak right now was impossible. Based on system calculations, Cassian's magic power wasn't inferior, but then he suddenly changed his route. Moros was completely shocked. The protagonist slammed his hands against the cold wall. Moros thought the villain terrified him, asking about training to defeat him later. Instead, Cassian asked if they could track him with the Eye of Wisdom. This was a flawless chance to battle a superior foe. For this battle junkie, nothing beat risking his absolute life on the front, and vows to burn him to ashes. The assassin coldly mocks his rude temper as lines. He refused to let this golden prey escape. Back at that dark dead end, in the dark alley, Driver mimics that brutal kick, wondering how he did it. That kid's moves were no joke. Just who the hell was he? That punk wasn't even scared. High schoolers today are terrifying. But suddenly, something creeps up from behind. Driver spins around, coming face to face with a transformed Cassian. Driver smirks in awe just as Cassian fiercely strikes, his guard with razor-sharp claws, thrown back by the impact. Driver becomes alert. The hero channels dark aura into his claws, forging lethal shadow blades. Driver narrowly dodges the slash, then takes to the sky. Cassian smirks as expected. He is strong. Driver wildly spins his tool, using his always. Cassian freezes, shocked to be recognized. The shadow was Jack, weapon summoned to enlarge his screwdriver. Moros warns him to be careful now that a weapon is summoned. Driver laughs, saying that was close, asking if he realizes the danger, firing a huge blast. The villain roars he will gladly return the favor. He cracks a twisted smile while unleashing his conductor beam. It surges forward with terrifying speed, triggering a massive explosion. Faraway villains are totally stunned by the blast. They wonder what just happened. But Driver is shocked the hero is still standing tall, having easily blocked the devastating strike with his dark blade. Moros senses his mana is over 1,000. He is 3 times stronger now, yet Cassian coldly analyzes him. The soul asks if he is even listening, but the hero just Khalid. An S-class knight, Cassian roars, asking how a fellow hero could. Smirks, declaring this will be a highly entertaining fight. Moros asks if he is absolutely insane. Driver praises his flawless block, cockily, wondering if he went too easy on the kid. Then he violently lunges forward with his giant screwdriver. Cassian predicts the fatal blow, gracefully leaping and dodging. Suspended in mid-air, Driver relentlessly charges, unleashing multiple fatal slashes that our hero easily evades. Driver panics. This bastard, he shouldn't be this fast. He is reading my every move. Just who the hell is this guy? With skills like these, he should be famous in the underworld. He launches another strike, wondering if this monster actually killed Blaster. The brutal blow clashes against Cassian's claws. Driver gasps in sheer terror as his butcher Jack mercilessly states he was merely purging a traitor to their weapon crumbles. Suddenly, the hero steps back as Driver's glowing eyes turn a demonic red, firing a deadly laser beam, but Cassian smoothly trips him, slamming the villain into the dirt. Damn it. Driver curses internally, scrambling to regain his footing. He roars that he is a combat expert. Driver hastily retreats, with his broken weapon, charging up a desperate new attack. this time using his cybernetic arm. The deadly blast rockets forward, but Cassian just raises his shadowy hand, unleashing a storm of dark aura daggers. They viciously pierce and shred through the metal limb. Driver is utterly paralyzed by shock as the hero appears right above him, launching him away with a brutal punch. The villain realizes this kid is an absolute monster. There is something unique about how he killed. Cassian yells at this absolute nonsense. But suddenly, a woman fights. This level of terrifying martial prowess belongs to a trained professional. Suddenly, his lackeys warp in. Found you, boss. They instantly begin to warp to Driver's side. A rank crow drops in on the left, and B rank ready guards the right. A shadow looms behind our hero. It is the deadly B rank, Blackhand, mocking Driver for looking so pathetic and holding back too much on. A kid, surrounded by elite villains. Cassian just smirks, asking if he called his crew since he got completely wrecked in a one-on-one. Crow asks about this crushing defeat, but Driver insists that's a lie. He hasn't lost just yet. His underling teases that he definitely got trashed. Blackhand seethes, fuming over the loss. How did Driver fall to some total amateur? The villain emerges from the shadows, confirming it. Jeff supposedly killed a comrade, demands why he even picked this fight to begin with. Cassian casually replies, he craved a strong opponent. Plus, he refuses to let a crazed murderer just slaughter innocent people on the streets. Driver looks totally confused. He asks if he means that notorious serial killer. Crow scoffs, saying there's no shame in slicing that butcher's head right off. Driver asks if they really think he's the culprit. It's a false accusation, born from baseless rumors. Blackhand glares. Who does this arrogant brat think he is? Mocking Driver? He's itching to end his life right here. But Driver cuts straight to the chase. He isn't the serial killer they are hunting. Cassian smirks, asking if he has proof, but Driver admits he doesn't. Suddenly, a splitting headache. Lara, an S-class ice mage, coldly states that they have sworn witnesses. Strikes Cassian. Blackhand smirks. This is his perfect chance to crush him to dust. He charges in, unleashing his deadly gauntlets of perdition skill. He roars for Cassian to burn in hell. The massive gauntlets smash into the ground, but Cassian effortlessly dodges. He sighs, calling it a cheap shot. Blackhand freezes in sheer shock. Cassian sneers, saying that cowardly trash always attack when their guard is down. Blackhand swings again, but Cassian simply vanishes, calling it the ultimate cure for idiots. He delivers a devastating claw punch straight to the gut. Crow, Red A, and Driver gasp in awe as Blackhand goes flying. The archer rushes over, while Driver praises the insane hit. Reddy is stunned. This kid just one-shot the number 3 rank, fated to become history's worst villain. Checking the mirror. Hard evidence. And executive approval. Jack warns that Cassian's name is of the entire villain district. Moros checks if Cassian is okay. Driver notes that the kid is visibly swaying and dizzy, analyzing the battle through his glasses. He reveals Cassian's power level didn't even reach 300. It just surged way too fast, tearing up his body. Crow asks if that's all the power he possesses, and Red Eye assumes he's D rank. How did a mere D rank pull off such a monster hit? Blackhand's raw magic shatters B rank limits. So how? Was he totally crushed in one strike? Driver calmly tells them to drop the confusion. Sure, it's rare, but sometimes a B rank can truly beat an A rank. Raw power alone doesn't decide a battle's fate. Cassian boasts terrifying physical strength and god-tier reflexes. On top of that, his combat skills far also on the traitor blacklist. He must surrender and confess absolutely everything, exceed his actual limits. He's a total anomaly. In pure mechanical terms, he's what you'd call a perfectly optimized, deadly machine. Suddenly, Driver pulls a glowing crystal from his gear, asking if he recognizes it. Cassian is shocked to see a rare magic crystal. Driver explains that any villain can skyrocket their magic power through harsh training, or by simply devouring these precious magic crystals. He casually tosses the gem to Cassian, urging him to eat it right now. Suspicious. Cassian asks why he'd share it. Driver proposes a deal, but Cassian couldn't care less. Driver insists that since Cassian hates injustice and wants this phantom killer, he should hunt him down in Driver's place. The crystal is just a sweet bonus for sealing the pact about his ties with Jeff. Glaring ruthlessly at the enraged hero, he can take it or leave it. Cassian smirks, noting that Driver claims to be he's no killer. Driver swears his innocence. Feeling totally framed, the protagonist asks why he does not hunt the culprit down himself. Driver smirks. Everyone has dark secrets they cannot share. A heavy silence falls as they stare each other down. Moments later, Cassian heads home, wondering if he was really supposed to consume this thing. Moros breaks it down. There are two crystal types. One is natural, a yin crystal, and the man-made ones are magic crystals. It is such a shame this is not a Jin crystal, but it will still heavily boost his magic power. Cassian scoffs. He already knew that. Moros strictly warns him to ingest it only in his villain form. Cassian grips the glowing gem in his human. Cassian reads the grim situation, sighing as the deadly trap closes around him. Hands, then shifts into his dark villain claws. He questions if this is truly a magic crystal. Moros nods. Our protagonist glares at the shard, remembering how Jeff strictly warned him never to consume something like this. He swallows it. Nothing. He smirks that it is a dud. But Moros quickly tells him to just wait. Boom! Raw energy violently floods his entire body. The shadows violently expand. Cassian gasps in shock. Moros urgently yells to stay completely calm. But then, even the guide is completely stunned by what happens next. His dark body finishes mutating. His razor-sharp claws evolve, surrounded by a terrifying magical aura that drifts into the air. Cassian feels his magic surge wildly. He only consumed a single magic crystal. Yet hey, he firmly declares that in all his heroic years, Jeff never once claimed a feels absolutely godlike. Now he gets why villains crave these magic crystals like addicts. It is a literal cheat code. He asks Moros to scan his new stats. The dust finally settles. Cassian sighs, complaining that his magic only grew by 50 points. Moros shrieks, asking what he means by only. Even if top-tier villains swallowed the absolute best crystal, they would only gain 5 or 10 points. A 50-point spike is literally the highest record ever. A 500% jump. This proves the magic crystal was insanely pure. It is totally absurd, even for a legendary catastrophe class. Cassian then spots a strange new hidden skill called magic crystal extraction. He asks how the hell he is supposed to use this. And human life. Lara warns that 2 more elite heroes are lurking nearby. Moros grins. It is literal. He can extract raw magic power from weapons, even those forged from Jin crystals. Cassian groans that it is just a trash skill with an edgy name. Moros gets furious. Extracting magic crystals is his unique overpowered trait. He can literally farm infinite crystals. Cassian smirks, realizing he needs to hunt down these magic crystal weapons now. Meanwhile, at Sunshin department store, De Wong flexes his brand new custom sword. He brags that he finally scored a personal weapon with an epic name, the Sword of the Great Bear and 4 Tigers. He then begs Wu Chan for a reaction, but his cold disciple just calls it pretty. De Wong flexes that it was forged with 2 premium magic crystals, making it the yak, so he better not try anything stupid. Jack adds that if he truly absolute best, but Wu Chan ignores the sword, shifting the focus. He needs to know if they found clues on that rogue villain who crushed Blaster. De Wong whines about the subject change. Still, he admits he ran a full data sweep, but found absolute 0. It is definitely a brand new villain. Wu Chan asks, what if he is an unregistered hero? De Wong shuts it down. Unlikely, given his sinister aura and traits. Plus, they have bigger problems to worry about now. Asking about the serial killer, the Damu special team was already put on high alert. Wu Chan wonders if Driver is the true culprit. After all, they said, he was the prime suspect. But Da Wong completely denies it. The rookie is totally confused. How can he be so sure? Da Wong scoffs, saying if it involved A, calls himself a hero, he must surrender rationally. This is his one and sports car or high-tech gadget. It would be him. But Driver is far from being a murderer. Wu Chan argues Driver is still a villain, a maniac whose dark actions are completely unpredictable. Da Wong casually sips his coffee, considering it was a cold-blooded slaughter. The odds of a villain being involved are sky-high. However, villains aren't the only monsters. It could easily be any ordinary civilian. Meanwhile, across town at a vibrant studio, a photo shoot is underway. The photographer begs for a cuter, bolder look. The 2 stunning models lean into each other, shifting poses smoothly as the photographer praises their charm, flashing bright smiles. They wrap up the shoot. Outside, Naon complains that It is already 7 o'clock. She wanted to hit the stationery store before heading home. Final warning. Cassian breaks into a dark smirk, agreeing that Jack is, but time ran out. She desperately wanted that limited edition bottle. Suddenly, she glances at Minyoung standing beside her. Nan walks up, asking why she hasn't left yet. She looks absolutely stunned. Minyoung hesitates for a second, then grabs Nan's arm, begging to hit the claw machines. Nan questions going so late. Minyoung insists it has been forever since they hung out there. She begs to play just one quick round. Nan tries to decline, saying she needs to get home. But Minyoung relentlessly pleads, finally giving in. She agrees to just one game. Little do they know, a sinister figure watches them. The killer flashes a wicked smile. The very next day, breaking news reveals that the rampant killer is being hunted by the Dom Special Forces. Cassian sighs, noting, absolutely right. A hero should be calm and rational. But he'll kill Jack. That 3 victims are already dead. Moro steps in, asking if he will accept Driver's dark proposal. Our hero spits back that he could not care less about that deal. But this deranged killer is slaughtering innocents in cold blood. There is no way he can sit back and watch. Moro's fall is completely silent. Cassian points out, it is incredibly rare for a psycho to kill for absolutely no reason. Plus, they have 0 leads, besides the grim fact that these very murders struck right here in the Gam district. Moros brings up the device Driver gave him earlier. Cassian plays dumb. Flashback to the very day they forged their dark pact. Cassian demands to know why he received it. Driver smoothly explains, they need a secure line. It is heavily encrypted, only allowing texts, and friend saw a stranger's face staring back. But now, he wields a far more. First, he lunges forward with blazing fists of fury. Jack swiftly draws his secure files. Without a tracker, there is 0 risk. Still, Cassian stubbornly rejects it. But Driver insists, promising to feed him exclusive intel on the Fursing killer anytime. He pledges full support to our hero, demanding only one thing. He must hunt down this murderous psycho. That was his a final request. Back in the present, Cassian glares at the burner phone. He enters the passcode, but a wave of sheer hesitation hits him, slamming the device on his desk. He refuses to use it. His fierce pride screams no. How could he ever stoop to texting a notorious villain? Moros watches him move, asking where he is headed. Cassian snarls that he refuses to just rot in this room. If he cannot formulate a plan, he will hunt for clues himself. Down at the local arcade, Katana, unleashing rapid slashes. But Cassian fiercely pushes through the Minyoung cheers that her bestie won. Nan stays completely silent as Minyoung says, almost got it, but the prize slips away. Nan groans, and Minyoung sighs. What a total letdown. They haven't won a single prize all night long. But Nan is fed up. They really need to head home now. Minyoung argues that it's not even 8 o'clock. A silent drone spies on them. Nan insists that her overprotective brother gave her a strict curfew. Minyoung looks uneasy, dreading something. She begs to stay just a few more minutes. Nan wonders if she's okay. Minyoung violently shakes with absolute terror, finally confessing that she saw everything. As Nan knows, their classmate was brutally murdered days ago. Minyoung witnessed the entire bloodbath. Nan gasps, asking why she. Flurry, smashing a fiery hook right into his chest. Jack leaps back. Kept it a secret. Minyoung cries that she was paralyzed by fear, terrified the killer would hunt her down next. Nan demands to know if she was spotted. Fear won't save them. They must rush to the police station immediately and report this. Together, they sprint toward the exit. If Minyoung truly saw the murderer, they are doomed. Reaching the arcade's glass doors, a dark force seals them inside. Panic strikes. Why are the heavy metal shutters crashing down? Nan freezes, staring at the floor. A massive pool of crimson blood replaces the tiles. A sinister voice echoes, welcoming them back. The terrified girls spin around. The scarlet puddle violently twists, taking a gruesome humanoid form. Minyoung screams while Nan bravely shields her, channeling intense aura into his blade. Summoning illusionary swords too. B-rank villain, Blood Rain, mocks them, high above, on a towering rooftop. Cassian stands in silence. The spirit, Moro sighs, noting that mindlessly. Roaming won't fix anything. Our Manhwa protagonist snaps back that the ghost should have stayed behind. But Moro's groans, bound by a magical law to always hover near his master. Suddenly, Cassian's burner phone abruptly rings loud, Moro smirks, asking if that's the device the driver handed over. What happened to his stubborn pride? Cassian scoffs, vowing to smash it. If it's spam, but his eyes widen in pure shock. Back at the blood-soaked arcade, the trapped girls shake endlessly. The towering crimson monster merely smiles a wicked grin, catching the drone humming nearby. Non connects the counterattack. Lara charges her absolute zero frost. Cassian roars for them. Dots. This villain is the exact butcher. Minyoung saw. Minyoung sobs, asking how they survive this nightmare. Non suddenly remembers a gift from Wu Chan. Her brother had handed her a silver panic button, warning her to only ever press it in mortal danger so he could rush to her rescue. Without hesitation, Non slams that button, praying her brother arrives fast. The menacing blood rain mocks their fatigue, offering these weak mortals the dark gift of eternal rest. But Non furiously screams at him to shut up, calling him insane. If death sounds so sweet, he should gladly take his own life. Enraged, the fiend calls her an insolent brat and stalks forward. Non realizes she must bide precious time until her brother arrives. Stalling, she bravely asks why. To bring it on, they launch a dual assault. But Cassian wildly deflects this dark deed. Blood Rain stays entirely silent. He chuckles, calling it a bizarre question. He needs no reason to enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Non knows this psycho is beyond saving. Blood Rain agrees to answer the naive girl. Craving warm blood and ripping apart fragile bodies is his sole purpose. It's the only twisted truth he's learned in this cruel world. Nothing brings more euphoria than slaughter. Non screams at him to freeze her brother will arrive. Here soon. He is super strong, and 3 seconds is all he needs to crush a monster like you. Blood Rain merely smirks, amused by her mighty brother arriving so soon. If so, he genuinely wonders how her dear brother would react to finding her lifeless, blood-drained corpse. Realizing it was his precious, deadly strikes, he charges in, until a brutal impact pierces his gut. Cassian, little sister? The girls freeze in sheer terror. Blood Rain declares playtime over, unleashing an energy blast. Non gasps in shock as the deadly strike bypasses her. It brutally strikes Minyoung beside her. Her friend collapses to the cold floor. Non violently spins around, screaming out her best friend's name. She drops to her knees, desperately begging her to wake up and hold on to life. Blood Rain coldly warns her turn is next. Her corpse will make the ultimate sweet gift. The lethal strike closes in on Non until a furious curse echoes out, and blinding light erupts. A devastating punch obliterates the door. Blood Rain and Non both turn. The protagonist sneers. Here's a little present for the villain. Flexing his shadow claw's pitch-black blade, he launches a lethal assault, crashes to his knees. A hidden sniper from the elite hero squad, yelling to take this. The fierce attack approaches Blood Rain, but the villain smoothly ducks beneath it. Straightening back up, he sees Cassian violently, charging him. Blood Rain firmly plants his stance, shifting the momentum. Cassian blocks a bone-crushing counterattack, lunging for a second strike. Cassian realizes his hand is violently trembling. He abruptly stops. Blood Rain is quite surprised, wondering who the hell this powerhouse is. Is this the strong brother? Non is totally baffled too. Blood Rain locks his piercing gaze onto Cassian, thinking he has never seen such unique skills or this intense young man before. Is this actually the legendary fighter who crushed Blaster? Standing right here? This turn be very entertaining. Smirking, Blood Rain announces a brief retreat, but Lara commands him to surrender now, or the next unseen bullet will shatter. Non shouldn't feel safe yet. Cassian instantly tenses up as the villain vows she will die by his hands in the most agonizing way imaginable. Cassian fiercely sprints at him, roaring for him to stand his ground. But his strike only grazes the blood. A fingertip meets crimson as the villain vanishes into thin air. Frustrated, Cassian curses. This sucks, scanning the empty room. A tearful Non desperately begs him to wait. Trembling, she pleads for him to perform a miracle and please save her dying friend. Meanwhile, racing through the streets, Di Wong questions if his sister hit the panic button as a mere joke. Wu Chan fiercely denies it, stating she definitely would have called first. She isn't the type to fake serious situations. Dong confirms the police are dispatched and speeding over, sweating bullets. Wu Chan, his skull. But Cassian stubbornly ignites his flames, telling them to go to. Desperately prays for his sister's survival, cutting back to the bloody arcade. Non yells at dispatch, demanding the ambulance hurry for a critically wounded patient. Cassian calmly takes charge, stating they must stop the catastrophic bleeding right now. He barks at her to find any clean cloth, preferably something highly stretchable, to act as a tourniquet. Frantically tearing through her bag, she hands an item over. Cassian questions the bizarre choice. Non tearfully explains they are stretchy socks. The protagonist swiftly binds the fabric tightly around Minyoung's waist. He then asks his system companion to analyze her vital stats. Moros questions if he truly needs to gauge her critical state. If so, activating the legendary Eye of Wisdom is unnecessary. Right now, she has 0 fatal damage. Cassian breathes a sigh of relief. Noun. Terrifying weapon. The destructive spirit of Moros, granting him absurd power. Hell. Jack spots the lethal spark. But Cassian unleashes an inferno. Screaming to, trembling, asks if her friend will survive, and our hero promises she will pull through. Sirens wail. The medics arrive with shocking speed to save the day. First aid is done, so he leaves the rest to them. Nan whispers her thanks. She asks if he is leaving so soon. Our main character nods, knowing it would only terrify the medics if they saw his true face, making her friend worse. Cassian gathers his fierce aura. In a flash, he vanishes. He leaps across the night sky. Moros sighs in relief. If they had been a second late, those girls would be dead. Suddenly, Cassian senses a chilling presence, stalking him. He darts to another rooftop, his patience finally running out. He demands to know what this shadow following him is. A sharp whistle echoes. Take this! Hellfire explodes, striking the two S-rank heroes. Cassian. Crow smirks. Cassian spots legs dangling from above. The mystery woman stands, proudly on the edge. She chuckles, asking if he forgot her already, teasing that his bad memory makes her want to kill him. Cassian easily recalls her as the woman beside Driver. He sharply replies that seeing her just hours ago makes forgetting impossible. Driver unexpectedly thanks him for his sharp memory. Crow drops down, eyes gleaming. She reveals her name. Matching her dark vibe, she demands his name. But the main character admits he has no title yet. She smirks, realizing he lacks a true villain name. Cassian admits he never cared for flashy titles before. He just wants to know what this creepy drone is. Crow explains. Driver deploys, attempts a desperate retreat. Damn it. I'll crush these bastards later. These spies in high-risk zones to track the killer's every move. He instantly feeds them raw data. Thanks to this tech, they finally unmask the culprit. Cassian demands a name. Crow's voice drops cold. It is the infamous Blood Rain, a monster roaming the nation to butcher countless innocent lives. To be honest, she sensed his foul play, but tracking his bloody trail was too hard, leaving her blind. Plus, annoying internal faction wars delayed them. But he better forget her rant or she will rip his heart out. Still, she vows not to cross Driver's strict orders. Meanwhile, the quirky mechanic just grabs a bowl of popcorn. Suddenly, Crow remembers her mission. Driver ordered her to hand this over, promising to explain everything once the dust. He dives for the water, but a bullet violently pierces his heart. The settles. She lightly tosses a tiny box to him. Cassian catches it, demanding what this trash is. Crow grins. It is the promised loot. Inside, the box rested 3 flawless magic crystals gleaming with pure power. These gems were of the absolute highest grade. Morning light breaks the city. A news anchor reports that yesterday at 8 o'clock at night, the rogue villain launched another brutal killing spree. Luckily, thanks to lightning-fast heroes, 0 lives were lost. A teenage schoolgirl is currently resting safely at the local hospital in stable condition. At home, Yuri asks Kang if he is heading out to school. He nods. She begs him to stay safe, warning that this modern world is a terrifying place. Strolling through the bustling streets later, Cassian, protagonist, plummets toward the abyss. Curse it all, he mutters, as his realizes it has been days since he claimed Kang Wuquan's mortal body. He must awaken his true power to crush Lampas. But can he really trust this shady, one-eyed freak? The dark pact he forged with the local district villains left a bitter taste in his mouth. Flashback to last night. He had demanded why. She gifted him 3 priceless magic crystals. Gripping the glowing stones, he questioned if this was just the agreed bounty. Crow smirked, asking if it wasn't enough. But Cassian smirked, declaring it was actually more than enough. The girl nodded grimly. Blood Rain is an absolute monster, and his raw strength would instantly crush your current magic power. She revealed a micro-tracking device crafted by Driver. It was a trump card. Battered body hits the waves. Cassian never imagined his legendary life. He must hide until the perfect moment. But there was one more detail. Driver had compiled a secret dossier of Blood Rain's sightings for him to investigate. Later, frankly, Driver's expectations were rock bottom. But if Cassian dared to disappoint them, the consequences would be deadly. Back in reality, Cassian scoffed at their sheer audacity. Breaking the silence, Moros sharply warned him that their current path wasn't leading to school. Cassian replied that destiny called elsewhere. Driver's data revealed a chilling pattern. A massive cluster of violent incidents centered around COI High School. The girls from yesterday wore that exact uniform. The shadows there held the clues he needed. Moros questioned if marching in and interrogating people was really wise. Would end this pathetically. He only craved vengeance. Suddenly, Jeff's necklace, and Cassian didn't hesitate. He would use force if necessary. But a nagging detail ate at him. Naun, one of the survivors from yesterday, was the sister of his school's most popular student. He needed an alibi before diving into danger. Phoning his teacher, he faked a severe cold, buying a perfect cover for the day. Meanwhile, tension choked Gaidam District Hospital. As Wu Chan waited, Duong handed him a coffee. Noting his exhausted, bloodshot eyes, he gently asked how Nam was recovering, and Wu Chan sighed that she finally fell asleep. He asked if Duong had analyzed the grim case report. Duong nodded heavily. The security camera footage was completely wiped out, but the gruesome aftermath left one terrifying truth. Blood Rain had returned. The psychopath usually drained his pulses with brilliant light. Elsewhere, panicked students washed their hands, victims dry without leaving a scratch. But the brutalized bodies in Gaidam were mangled, throwing the entire investigation into chaos. Duong was in absolute disbelief. Wu Chan muttered that the mysterious villain who saved Nan and Minyan had to be the same rogue from before. His voice trembled as he recalled how Nan worshipped the rogue as her savior. What kind of twisted, mentally unstable villain rescues innocent people, especially his sister? Catching his drift immediately, Duong admitted the burning mystery. The rogue pulled the exact same stunt before, leaving everyone desperate to unmask him. Wu Chan just stared blankly at his cup. At the girls' school, Cassian lurked in the shadows, his sharp gaze analyzing every student. Moros scoffed, asking if he seriously ditched class just to play, grumbling about the mess. That loser in the stall stopped breathing. Detective here. Inside a convenience store, Cassian grabbed a drink, his eyes locking onto a group of girls flirting with the striking clerk. He chuckled gently, claiming he was merely a student on break, desperate for his attention. The girls pried into his personal life, interrupting the scene. Cassian slammed his drink down. The clerk flashed a suspiciously flawless smile, assuring Cassian he'd ring it up. Scanning the item, he stated the total was 321. As he reached for his card, a chilling detail caught Cassian's eye. The book, The Bride of Corinth. The puzzle pieces clicked. As the clerk bagged the drink, an old man asked to take the scrap cardboard. The clerk eagerly offered to help gather the discarded boxes, deliberately bumping Cassian's shoulder. A dark aura flared. Moros sensed it too, fearing he's dead. The bullies flee. But suddenly, the corpse inhales. The clerk asked for a moment. Cassian watched him closely from the shadows. From a distance, highly suspicious. Outside the store, Moros calls out to Cassian, saying he needs to tell him a secret. Cassian bluntly replies he is a villain. The spirit gasps in shock. Cassian smirks, saying that one look into the man's eyes revealed everything. Moros isn't fully convinced he's Blood Rain. But Cassian brings up the Bride of Corinth lying right on the killer's counter. It's a classic vampire tale, and a chilling phrase comes to mind. You must surrender your life to him. Cassian knew he had heard that line somewhere before. It was straight from that book. Moros is amazed, he recalls. Such a tiny detail. But Cassian shrugs, saying he read a lot of they drew is truly the Joker. At the convenience store exit, the clerk changes his clothes and locks up. Cassian tracks him from the shadows, silently following his trail. Mordos opens his eye, realizing the path leads to CO Girls High School. Cassian wonders what his twisted goal is. He turns around, a speeding car is barreling toward an innocent old man. The man freezes in terror, but Cassian dashes in, snatching him from the jaws of death. The car screeches to a halt. As the driver panics, Cassian quickly spins around, remembering his true target, but Blood Rain has completely vanished. The villain clicks his tongue in pure annoyance. Deep in a dark city alley, Moros admits he never imagined transforming in such a filthy place. Cassian coldly notes there are no accessible rooftops nearby. But first things first, he devours the magic crystal. A fierce transformation erupts in the narrow alley. Cassian's dark aura surges immensely. Moros urges him to analyze it with his Eye of Wisdom. Cassian smirks, 2 brand new skills just unlocked. They are Hidden Shadows and Shadow Movement. Moros explains that this sudden spike in his points awakens dormant abilities. These deadly new skills can only be gained by boosting his spell points. Back when Cassian was a hero, he grew stronger just through pure training. He curses, his points are stuck at 470 after eating 3 whole crystals. Moros suggests his body developed a high tolerance, meaning next time the gains will drop to near 0. Cassian grits his teeth. If becoming overpowered was as easy as eating crystals, the system wouldn't have handed them out so easily. He can't just rely on cheap tricks to level up. He must find a more brutal way to evolve. He orders Moros to reveal Blood Rain's stats. Moros warns him. He's already used it twice. One more time, and he'll pass out completely. The system window flashes open. Cassian wonders if one of these slick skills helped the killer escape. He even possesses a mind control ability. Moros notes his core attribute is mind, making that terrifying. Power a given. Hypnosis. Cassian murmurs, realizing this brutal fight won't be a walk in the park. Meanwhile, at the Silent City Hospital, a sinister red energy oozes from a dark ward. The walls are painted in fresh blood. Rain manipulates his brainwashed servants. Twisted smiles stretch across their faces as he commands them to fetch that child. The next evening, as the sun sets and workers head home, tension brews. In a dim hotel room, Min-young lies in bed. Na-yoon sitting anxiously beside her. She whispers he wasn't there, asking who the hell that mysterious boy was. Suddenly, nurses call out to Na-yoon with news. Danger looms. Min-young faces a highly suspicious procedure. The hypnotized staff insists she comes alone, ditching her guardian. They wave with unsettling smiles. Back in the dark alley, our protagonist Cassian ignites his purple shadows, testing his powers. He launches himself up, blinking atop a high roof. He instantly vanishes into thin air. His dark aura explodes. Cassian realizes he can seamlessly fuse the hidden shadows with his shadow movement. But the spirit Moros warns that there's a serious catch. Cassian powers down his form, landing smoothly on a nearby roof. The soul nags that his magic crystal drain is massive, urging strict caution. Cassian just tells the ghost to stop nagging. Suddenly, a ping alerts his phone. Bingo! Cassian smirks, confirming the exact location. He knew this would happen. That psycho Blood Rain is actually heading straight to the girl's hospital. Thank heavens, he secretly planted a tracking device on that monster. Cassian's mind flashes to Non, and his fierce resolve instantly hardens. He launches into the sky. There is 0 time to lose. In the dark hospital garage, Non demands answers. Why on earth are they boarding an ambulance for a basic checkup? The creepy doctor claims this procedure is highly classified and must be done off-site. Confused, Non questions them. A loyalty procedure. Blood Rain finishes. Non quickly spins around. The villain grins, thrilled to see his prey. Her destiny is to forfeit her life. To him, Non freezes in absolute terror. She screams for everyone to run. But the hospital staff just turns around, revealing their blank, hypnotized faces. Blood Rain mocks that these mindless puppets only obey his orders. He could brainwash her too, but that would ruin the fun. Desperate, Non secretly triggers her panic button. Blood Rain gloats about her incredibly strong spirit. Impressed, she conquered basic human fear. She is the absolute perfect candidate for his bride. Suddenly, Cassian roars at him to stop spouting such lunatic garbage. Furious, Blood Rain scans the shadows to find the intruder. Cassian secretly warns Non to hit the deck the second he shouts 3. Blood Rain growls, wondering if it's that previous punk. Cassian roars 3, and Non dives. Cassian instantly shatters the glass, driving his foot straight into the villain's face. Blood Rain is violently launched backward, stunned by the sheer impact, but Cassian mercilessly follows up, giving him no room to breathe. A devastating stomach kick sends Blood Rain crashing into the concrete wall. The beast shrieks in fury, cursing him for ruining his dark plans again. Cassian surges forward with his aura, warning he's only just warming up. The villain's eyes snap wide open. He barely dodges a lethal face strike. Cassian attacks relentlessly as the cornered villain dodges, gritting his teeth in sheer panic. In a desperate move, he lunges with his claw. It's the deadly sanguine slash, extending his blades. Cassian swiftly ducks the swipe and retaliates. A brutal uppercut shatters the monster's chin. Cassian winds up a finishing blow, telling him to rot in hell. He violently slams the play, Psycho, into the concrete with his dark energy. Blood Rain nearly blacks out, but stumbles back up, glaring at his enemy. In a final act of desperation, he tries his hypnosis, screaming that he's caught him and will show him true death. But Cassian sinks his lethal claws deep, finishing the monster. He beats him mercilessly, echoing thunderous strikes. He refuses to let go of the villain's face, violently slamming him into the concrete once more. He demands if this is how he's lived until now, but the answer truly doesn't matter. From now on, his killing spree ends here. However, Blood Rain just starts laughing like a maniac, calling him amusing because he can never be stopped. He is invincible. Cassian asks if he's completely lost his mind, but the monster melts into the crimson pool, transforming into a sinister, laughing puddle. Cassian glares to the side, striking the bloody pool, but only shatters the earth. Moros warns that Blood Rain is a very difficult foe to slay, as physical attacks become completely useless against his bloody awakening. Cassian clicks his tongue, wishing he had a long-range ability on hand. Suddenly, confused voices echo. The doctors ask why. They are in the parking garage, and Non asks if everyone is safe. Moros notice. The mass hypnosis is finally broken. Cassian urgently yells to take the girls somewhere safe. He instantly dashes off, though Non begs him to wait, desperately wanting to talk to her savior. Ignoring her, Cassian keeps sprinting through the garage, growling that the bastard couldn't have gone far. He will hunt him down no matter what. Beside him, Moros remains dead silent. Meanwhile, heroes Wu Chan and De Wong are also rushing in. Cassian nears an elevator, only to instantly cross paths with the duo. The tension spikes as they lock eyes. De Wong declares he's a villain, while Cassian wonders who these guys are. The hero draws his shining blade, lunging forward with his night ability active. Cassian demands why they are attacking him blindly. They need to stay out of his way. He cleanly parries the strike. The weapon goes flying, magically returning to De Wong's grip. He barks at Wu Chan to provide cover fire. Quickly, Wu Chan remembers Non saying this man saved her, and wonders why a villain is at the hospital, flashing back to his past until his mentor snaps him out of it. Wu Chan ignites his explosive ability, declaring, "It doesn't matter because all villains must die." A massive, blazing blast of infernal fire rockets at Cassian. He charges head-on straight into the roaring flames, activating Shadow Blade to cleanly slice the inferno in two. He curses under his breath as De Wong appears right behind him. The protagonist spins around in a flash, barely reacting to the hero's deadly swift slash. Cassian narrowly dodges the fatal strikes with difficulty, but crimson blood splatters the air. De Wong shouts he got him. Wu Chan charges, forward wielding blinding flare magic, but recalling his sister's words that this man saved her. Wu Chan suddenly hesitates. Cassian immediately turns his head, spotting a perfect escape route, and uses his phantom skills to vanish. Wu Chan covers his frustrated face. De Wong demands what he was thinking, and the rookie apologizes. But the veteran hero questions why the villain didn't attack. At parking gate B, De Wong notes the enemy seem to be wielding mysterious shadows, heavily implying a rare darkness attribute. It is the first time he's seen such power, stressing over how to explain this in the hero report. At least they managed to land a solid hit. He then asks Wu Chan why he looks so. Da Wong beams, vowing to protect him like a true older brother. Wu Chan silently nods. Da Wong promises everything will be all right. Yet the young hero finds this brotherly affection totally embarrassing. Meanwhile, in a dark alley, Blood Rain curses his brutal injuries. As night falls, the bloodthirsty maniac fails to suppress his overwhelming killing intent. Grinding his teeth, he suddenly licks his lips. The Red Juice Club is the perfect hunting ground to satisfy his gruesome thirst. Inside the thumping, neon-lit nightclub, the crowd is dancing wildly until a woman spots something terrifying. She nervously asks why the man is drenched in crimson. Offering help, he smirks, demanding only a drink. If she behaves, they can share a glass. He playfully tells her not to panic, since his ultimate prey is already right here. Elsewhere, Da Wong is speeding in his car. The radio broadcasts an emergency at the Red Juice Club on 3rd Street. The notorious Blood Rain is unleashing absolute chaos. Da Wong curses. Damn it, how did that absolute monster manage to heal so fast? Wu Chen asks what is wrong. The veteran mentor explains that draining innocent civilians restores Blood Rain's power. Now, they will never arrive in time to ambush him while he is vulnerable. Wu Chan tenses up at this. He recalls checking on his beloved sister. He frantically asked if she was badly injured from the attack. But Na Yun confessed the mysterious savior rescued her again. The hero is completely stunned. She explained that immediately after the unknown figure had vanished. Back in reality, the mystery still haunts his mind. The vehicle speeds far away. Meanwhile, in another desolate alleyway, the main character is clutching the deep slash across his stomach. Moro sighs in relief, noting he didn't act like his usual ruthless self during the fight. Cassian questions this. The ghost points out his weird hesitation to strike the heroes, completely unlike his merciless stance against villains. Cassian ponders this glaring weakness, but firmly declares they are entirely irrelevant right now. The true targets he must destroy are no longer mere villains. Moros confirms the flesh wound is closed. Suddenly, they look down in shock. Cassian's tracker aggressively beeps until a holographic map flashes. At the Red Juice Club, countless innocent bodies lie slaughtered across the floor. A few terrified survivors desperately crawl away. Da Wang and Wu Chan crash into this hellscape, a literal slaughterhouse with blood rain chilling there. Smirking, the villain purrs. He is satisfied and perfectly revitalized. Da Wang glares, furious that he finally cornered this psychotic bastard. While blood rain mockingly shushes the raging heroes, he refuses to let his exquisite dining experience be ruined. Da Wang watches the surviving hostages shivering in terror. He is paralyzed by the grim reality. He hastily orders his fiery apprentice to evacuate the bleeding victims and retreat instantly. Blood rain sneers, boasting that with his power restored, utter despair is inevitable. He rockets toward the heroes, launching a lethal, blood-forged javelin straight at their heads. Both instinctively react to the ambush. Da Wang rips his blade from its sheath, swinging a slash that shatters the crimson weapon. Wu Chan also ignites his scorching aura, charging forward to blast a hellish inferno. But his master screams to abort the strike to save the trapped bystanders. The fiery rookie instantly cancels his flames. Blood Rain sadistically laughs, asking if they seriously have time to play hero. A blinding, sinister glow erupts directly above Da Wang. The maniacal threat shrieks to watch his own back as a devastating magical bombardment violently crashes down. The battle explodes. Wang gets blasted backward, crashing hard and coughing blood from the massive impact. Blood Rain lunges forward again, wildly announcing he will end his life with an absolute, magnificent strike. He immediately lands a brutal blow on the hero's face. The villain erupts into maniacal laughter as the blood is drained. Suddenly, Wu Chan strikes from above, fists blazing with fire. He unleashes a blow that obliterates everything, but Blood Rain vanishes, appearing right behind him. Great aura, but totally useless without their skill. Wu Chan spins around in shock. Before he can react, the villain readies his deadly claws and slashes the hero across the chest. Wu Chan staggers back, thinking, damn it. The monster's sinister aura surges, refusing to back down. Wu Chan counters with a fierce kick, forcing Blood Rain to instantly retreat. Wu Chan collapses to his knees, tightly clutching his torn chest. Crimson blood drips from the demonic claws. Blood Rain smirks, claiming he totally held back. With full force, he would have shattered his bones instantly. Wu Chan realizes this monster is insanely strong, considering his explosive fire ability and the trapped civilians. Winning is near impossible while limiting his aura output. Blood Rain sneers, calling his fiery blast pathetic yet amusing. It is understandable. In Hero, you must protect the hostages. Then, his tone turns dark. He taunts Kim Wu Chan, mentioning his beautiful little sister. He reveals he investigated her thoroughly. She is so smart and charming, managing to trick me using that shadow villain. He declares that such deception is a completely unforgivable crime, punishable by strict execution. Enraged, Wu Chan erupts in fiery aura, roaring for the bastard to burn in hell. Blood Rain bursts into wild laughter. He relishes this intense emotion, eager to fully savor the blood of a hero pushed to absolute blind rage. This is something truly unique. The villain mocks his lingering confidence. In honor of your foolish bravery, I will grant you one chance. Prove if your power is a mere illusion or an absolute reality. Meanwhile, shifting to another dark corner of the city, Blood Rain challenges him. Defeat me right here, and every hostage is saved. He urges Wu Chan to unleash his maximum power. The monster sinisterly thinks this shadowy abyss is the perfect stage to peacefully savor his fresh blood under the beautiful night sky. Suddenly, Wu Chan spots an opening. He explodes forward, seizing this deadly opportunity. Holding nothing back to avoid regrets, he unleashes a blazing ring of fire. The fierce attack flies at Blood Rain, but the monster just smirks, dodging the raging flames with an acrobatic leap. Wu Chan is stunned as the deadly claw lunges straight at his throat. He barely manages to evade, but the villain mocks. "Is that your best? I told you to use everything." A brutal strike slams into the young hero. Blood Rain arrogantly announces he will now unleash his true, terrifying aura. Back at the Red Juice Club, Cassian surveys the absolute destruction. He spots a massive gash on the ruined wall, remarking it looks like a monstrous claw mark. Moros analyzes the terrifying depth, stating the attacker must possess overwhelming strength. Cassian wonders who did this, until he spots Da Wong completely wrecked on the floor. The protagonist sighs. "This guy again." He casually asks if he is dead. Moros confirms his aura is still active. Cassian realizes Wu Chan should be here, but he is nowhere in sight. Moros urges Cassian to look closer. A mysterious magic sword rested on the ground, gripping the hilt. Cassian instantly feels its dense, pulsing aura as he touches it. Moros calls it a golden chance to strip the core mana from the mystic blade. Cassian hesitates, knowing this weapon truly belongs to someone else. But recalling Diong's vicious strike, his resolve hardens instantly. He shatters the blade against the earth, claiming 2 gleaming magic crystals. Cassian swallows them both. Suddenly, raw energy violently erupts within him. He is overwhelmed. A brutal shockwave hits his chest, forcing him to realize the truth. Moros watches in absolute shock as the room's atmosphere turns pitch black. Smirking, Cassian ignores his system stats. He doesn't need them when he feels this monstrous, godlike strength. Meanwhile, atop a towering structure, 3 figures wait in the shadows. They are completely sick of stalling. Elsewhere, Wu Chan charges with a blazing fist, pouring pure fury into the strike. But Blood Rain casually blocks the inferno with a bare hand. He then mocks the young hero, sneering that such pathetic embers could never burn him. A dark orb materializes in his savage claws and brutalizes Wu Chan's gut. The boy blacks out instantly. Blood Rain laughs at his pitiful weakness. He sharpens his vile claws, telling the pathetic bug to blame nothing but his own tragic weakness. He promises the twisted mercy of absorbing the boy's flesh completely, until a voice calls him a total freak. Cassian materializes behind the beast, shadow aura flaring. He orders the villain to shut his mouth, labeling him nothing but a filthy parasite. Tensions explode. Blood Rain sneers at his arrival, asking if he ever gets exhausted from ruining his grand designs. Cassian mocks his arrogant tone, especially for a coward who just fled from battle with him. Blood Rain erupts into maniacal laughter, claiming his physical state has evolved. Today, dozens of innocent lives were slaughtered, their fresh blood forging him into a god. He declares this absolute power invincible. He boasts that no S-rank hero could ever survive him. Cassian simply scoffs at invincible. Wu Chan stirs awake, completely baffled by his savior's sudden arrival. Blood Rain summons a massive energy orb, demanding they witness true despair. Wu Chan is frozen in sheer terror. The villain hadn't even used a fraction of his strength. Blood Rain unleashes hellish fury upon our hero, firing dozens of lethal crimson blood spears. The onslaught races toward Cassian, but he barely flinches, calmly raising his claws to parry with a fierce shadow blade. The devastating blast is easily swatted away. Suddenly, a grip locks onto his arm. Blood Rain lunges for the kill, roaring at him to die, but Cassian instantly vanishes into thin air. The bloodthirsty villain freezes in pure shock. Cassian materializes at his blind spot, whispering right into his ear. Panicking, Blood Rain spins with a heavy elbow, cursing him as a filthy rat. But our hero flawlessly evades the strike. He wins, up a devastating aura-infused punch and shatters Blood Rain's jaw. A lightning fast kick crushes the monster's ribcage. Reeling from the brutal combo, the villain's vision blurs. Cassian coldly mocks his so-called invincible might, asking when the real fight starts before smashing another brutal blow into his skull. Blood Rain is blasted across the battlefield like a ragdoll. Wu Chan is left utterly speechless. What just happened? Cassian was on a whole new level. Since that hospital clash, he was definitely masking his terrifying power, leaving everyone guessing his true identity. Blood Rain coughs up crimson, cursing the monster before him. Cassian steps closer, mocking his bold claim that no S-rank hero could touch him. Is this really his absolute limit? A wicked crimson aura explodes from Blood Rain. Cassian smirks, asking if the coward is already planning an escape. The villain admits defeat in raw strength, but vows physical blows will never crush a man who controls blood. His immortal body guarantees a future victory, but that arrogant fantasy shatters when Cassian declares there is no tomorrow, binding him completely. In pitch black shadows, he calls him absolute garbage. Wu Chan watches, utterly paralyzed by shock. An ominous black flame ignites in Cassian's palm. He promises to burn him to ash. Terror grips the villain as the abyssal fire engulfs his flesh. Kang Wu's mana skyrockets to 520 points, awakening the legendary dual attribute of Dark Flames. The very next morning, Hospital TV's Blair AYEC breaking news flash. The infamous serial killer, Blood Rain, who turned downtown Dam into a war zone, has finally been captured. After an epic clash, the nation breathes a sigh of relief, crediting this massive victory to the rising star hero. Wu Chan, watching the broadcast. De Wong proudly slaps his student's shoulder, praising his brutal survival. He shudders to think of the tragedy if Wu Chan had actually failed. But the young hero lowers his gaze, a heavy burden crushing his conscience. He confesses the chilling truth. In his memories, an unstoppable Cassian violently dragged the defeated villain by his hair. Wu Chan still trembles, haunted by those mysterious black flames, an unheard-of dual-attribute magic that defies all known logic. Before vanishing, the Dark Savior had casually ordered him to call the cops for the bleeding killer. Wu Chan frustratingly explains that he denied defeating Blood Rain, yet the clueless media completely twisted his words. De Wong's eyes widen. Was it the exact same demon who obliterated Blaster? Wu Chan nods, confirming the shadowy figure's identity. Sipping water in the sterile ward, De Wong nervously questions if this monstrous rogue is actually a heroic villain. The silence is deafening. De Wong laughs it off, telling him to drop the anxiety. The guy probably just had a selfish motive, like a brutal underworld turf war or a ruthless power struggle. He then asks about his precious Hokuto sword, relieved when Wu Chan reveals the cops secured it. De Wong cheers happily, while the student just stares blankly out the window. Meanwhile, the very next day in the school courtyard, local bullies assemble. Dagu chills with his goons, buzzing over the explosive news of Wu Chan slaughtering the legendary Blood Rain. They're absolutely hyped. The blonde lackey sweats, thanking his lucky stars he never provoked the hero, or he'd be instantly dead. Suddenly, Kyun squints. He points out Dagu's brutally swollen eye. Dagu growls that some absolute monster fractured his face, nearly putting him in a coma. Furious, Ki-hoon roars for bloody revenge, medical compensation, but Dagu shivers, admitting they stand zero chance. The purple-haired thug demands they mobilize the entire gang, but Dagu snaps, yelling to shut up. That mysterious bastard possessed a mind-numbing terror. Then Wu Chan, the rumored villain slayer. He asks if anyone has witnessed a human with glowing eyes. Hearing this, Kuna's guard instantly goes up. Over in Classroom 3, rumors spread like wildfire. Kim Wu Chan was totally epic. He looked incredibly cool. Morris notes the whole school is buzzing about yesterday. Cassian wonders when he can actually visit them. Beyond just the loot, there are hidden secrets he must investigate. Moros asks why. Our main character falls into deep thought. Later, deep inside the villain zone, a machine spits out a strange tape. A gum-chewing girl starts spray-painting the walls. She sketches a bear over old stickers. A figure approaches carrying a paint bucket. Give out. She drops to the floor, totally speechless. Outside, the staff freezes in absolute shock. Why did Shin kneel instead? Rang is also stunned. Welcome back, Mind Ya fans, to another explosive episode. Complaining about the terrible stench and mess, Driver asks if the first thing they do is lecture him. The man smirks, reminding Driver that he was the one who summoned him. The villain questions this as drinks hit the table. Driver asks if he witnessed that epic clash firsthand. The masked man nods, confirming he saw it all. It was pure cinematic perfection. He watched from start to finish. It was A-rank Wong Yil-gonis. Driver asks for his assessment, and Wong calls him totally emotionless. Aroma complains it was a boring, cliché-filled brawl, and he agrees. Wong tells them to relax. It is because he exudes major main character energy. He shines like a dazzling and straight black diamond. Driver asks if that is a compliment. Wong admits he earned praise for his insane feats. He clearly knows his own potential, which is why he sent him there. Wong drops a bombshell. The guy wields a dual attribute. Driver is stunned. The villain turns away in deep thought. Facing Wong again, he asks if he is dead serious. The other is shocked he did not know. Driver says he thought he was built differently than other villains. Wong laughs that he truly had no clue. A villain wielding a dual attribute is a legendary myth they had never seen. Driver points out that such monsters have existed before. A long time ago, during the mythical era, Cassian reflects deeply that the villain district is not a prison for the wicked. It acts as a shield to prevent massive hero-villain wars, letting them survive without the constant fear of deadly attacks. Today, it is a rare sanctuary for villainous peace. This was the infamous villain district. He admits he can never get used to it. No matter his visits, Driver greets him, saying he is right on time. His aura feels vastly different from before, but he is genuinely thrilled they could reunite. Once again, in a ruined building, but this time at the Paradise Bar, a waiter serves the duo. A cold drink hits the table. Driver praises the amazing grapefruit juice, promising that after a sip, he will give him a grand tour and hand over the promised loot. Driver adjusts his glasses and gasps in pure shock. His magic power spiked. He asks if he devoured some magic crystals or something crazy, but Cassian questions how he even could. Driver is baffled by this monster. Last time, he only had 300 magic points, but now over 500. Magic power cannot explode like that from mere crystals alone. He suspects this insane growth ties into his secret dual attribute. Cassian replies, his curiosity burning for a while. Where exactly do these magic crystals come from? Is there a hidden supplier? Suddenly, a voice cuts in. He can supply them. It's Yu Chaiha, an unregistered A-rank hero. Tossing a piece, he effortlessly summons a plate of sandwiches, calling it a freebie for a truly special customer. Driver smirks. This bar owner is actually a hero dwelling in the Ville Zone. Yu Chaiha snaps at him to drop the bro title. Driver admits he wants a hefty discount on crystals, but the owner groans they are already dirt cheap. Driver shamelessly leverages their long-time friendship since they go way back together. Cassian stares at this bizarre hero living deep in the Ville Zone. This guy's backstory must be utterly insane to end up here. He demands to buy magic crystals, but Yu Chaiha coldly replies only if he joins the Ville Zone family. Driver chimes in he just needs to move into the Ville Zone territory. Cassian scoffs, asking if he expects him to play house and become a lowly lackey. But Driver explains that if he aces a specific test, he could instantly claim the throne as the boss instead. Yu Chaiha asks if Driver wants to quit being a Ville Zone boss, and Driver admits he wants to retire soon. The main character coldly replies he has zero interest in ruling the Ville Zone. Shocked, Driver asks why he'd reject a flawless gig. He would wield absolute authority. He'd command his very own loyal army and unlock a ridiculously luxurious private training room. Cassian coldly states his only true obsession is growing stronger. But Driver dangles the ultimate bait, unlimited black market magic crystals. Cassian squints at the owner, realizing this strange bartender is actually a shady black market dealer. Both of these veterans hide terrifying strength. Driver adds the cherry on top, a massive monthly salary that is impossible to ignore. Cassian finally asks the price, and Driver leans in, whispering the massive sum right into his ear. Cassian freezes in pure shock at the insane amount, while Driver grins triumphantly. Cassian glares at the two of them as Yu Chaiha calmly watches the bait work. Meanwhile, deep in the city, Blackhand gags on his awful food, doubting if this trash is even real meat. He craves a juicy Papa Han's chicken burger, but his comrade mutters that Queen's is decent too. B+ rank Crush craves pizza, though he cannot recall the last time he tasted it. Blackhand yells that the idiot destroyed the only pizza joint in the Ville Zone. Crush roars that pineapple pizza is a deadly sin. Footsteps approach from the shadows. The deadly B- rank villain, Double Blade, snarls that they are wasting precious time arguing over pizza. Blackhand demands answers. Did a hero just breach the Ville Zone borders? But Double Blade warns that bastard is here. The very same boy dressed in black who beat him. Blackhand remembers and his blood boils with rage. He demands where that little punk is hiding. Double Blade says he is with Driver. They went to the Paradise Bar, a safe haven where Driver strictly outlaws all villain brawls inside. The turf. Blackhand maliciously declares that today, that sacred rule shatters. In a totally different sector, a strange figure digs the earth. Driver once noted, this freak is dubbed Dirt Dog for his filthy digging obsession. The madman The guy behind him? That's cleaner. He's an absolute neat freak who won't let a single speck of dust slide. These two are total weirdos, but harmless to humans. Sure, they spare lives, but they are walking societal disasters. That is why they belong in the Vil Zone. Cassian realizes these guys are a totally different breed from the villains he normally crushes. Probably that bastard's doing. So, he demands to know why he was used to crush Blood Rain. Driver drops a bomb. Rat is hiding within their ranks. Our main character freezes. Driver explains that to flush out this filthy traitor, they needed a wild card. Someone with zero ties to the Vil Zone. Listen closely. Just like heroes, villain society is heavily divided. You have the rule followers and the absolute anarchists who trample all over the law. Cassian narrows his eyes. Is there a hidden link between Blood Rain, the Vil Zone's residential area, and this traitorous rat? Driver smirks, calling it a calculated trap. He knew without a doubt that darker forces were pulling strings, aiming to wipe the Vil Zone off the map. Cassian coldly brushes it off. Not his problem. But Driver just laughs, claiming that ruthless attitude is why he likes him. He insists Cassian join their twisted family in the Vil Zone. Cassian glares, demanding to know what pure nonsense he is spouting. But Driver swears on his villainous life. This was an earnest plea. Meanwhile, across the city at the high-end Vast Burma restaurant, Yuri is organizing shelves, her mind drifting to Kongwu. Has he eaten today? She has not seen a glimpse of him since handing over that card. Suddenly, a butler summons her. The big boss wants a word, up in his office. The boss praises her flawless work ethic, social charm, and zero flaws. A mysterious voice on the phone agrees, chuckling that the rumors are exactly spot on. He cannot wait to meet her, while the owner heavily sighs, devastated to lose his best worker. The shadowy figure jokes about stealing his top talent. Yuri gently knocks, snapping the owner back to reality. He quickly ends the call, whispering he will dial back later. Across town, the unknown man flashes, a highly suspicious smirk. Back inside, the owner slides a pristine envelope toward Yuri. It is a golden ticket from the American headquarters. Her hard work caught the eyes of the top brass. They want her out for elite training. A fully paid flight? Absolutely. Plus, a luxury apartment right next to the central hub. It is a life-changing chance she cannot refuse. Yuri smiles. But a shadow crosses her mind. Her brother. Meanwhile, stepping out of the shadows, our hero marches through the gloomy district. Heavy silence hangs in the air. Driver's absurd invitation echoing in his skull. Join the Vil Zone? What kind of sick joke was that? Yet, Driver pledging his villainous soul felt totally real. It was no lie. Suddenly, Cassian halts. Moros floats up, asking if danger is creeping near. Cassian's piercing gaze locks onto the alleyway. Blackhand is waiting. Crush cracks his knuckles. Is this their prey? Cassian smirks. Noting this, Vil Zone has a massive rat infestation. Double Blade readies his weapons, shocked that Cassian sensed their bloodlust. This guy is dangerous. Crush roars, craving to slaughter him right here. But Blackhand steps forward, aura flaring. Stand down. He gets the first strike, teeth grinding with pure fury, vowing bloody revenge. A true man HWA showdown. Cassian just wonders what. Moros warns him to stay on high alert. It looks like they are preparing to launch a full-blown group assault. Blackhand gathers his aura, charging forward with a blood-curdling scream. Suddenly, a tossed glass mid-air miraculously expands into a massive barrel. Startled, Blackhand curses the sudden interference, scoffing at such a rude send-off. The B-rank villain, Juak, confidently blocks his path. Blackhand angrily demands an explanation, but Juak coolly responds that she is simply enforcing the law. Ganging up on a single target directly violates their sacred rules. Blackhand furiously fires back, arguing that only applies to true Vil Zone members. Just then, Double Blade spots feathers drifting down. Crow's voice echoes, stating he soon will be perched high above the rooftops. She gently balances a raven on her finger. Blackhand, baffled, wonders when she arrived. Crow smirks, asking if they truly planned to let him escape so easily. Both villains flinch in shock. Later that night, Yuri finally arrives home. She lets out a heavy, exhausted sigh after work, flicking on the lights. She wonders if her brother is already fast asleep. She gently knocks on his bedroom door. A sudden flashback hits her. Her boss, praising her relentless work ethic and offering an elite training program at the main headquarters. Yuri drops her bag, loudly announcing that she will shower and crash for the night. The invitation letter slips to the floor. Meanwhile, Cassian is sprinting with 10-kilogram weights strapped to his limbs. Moros praises this old-school training method. Cassian coldly remarks that nothing else builds raw strength and explosive stamina quite like this. He must deeply engrave this reality into his mind. He won't always face fair one-on-one duels. Facing deadly groups alone requires absolute, unbreakable stamina. Moros nods, agreeing with his warrior mindset. Back during yesterday's interrupted clash, Crush furiously roared, demanding they halt the battle. He must pass the brutal Vil Zone test to join the family. Blackhand violently roared that his single burning desire was to end Cassian's life. Unfazed, Cassian coldly accepted the test, but delayed it by 10 days. The villains pulled back. Juak declared, "This a twisted welcome ceremony. Rule 1. Strictly one-on-one duels, and killing is strictly forbidden unless absolutely necessary." Moreover, she claimed the spot as his very first opponent. Cassian simply glares back, eyes devoid of warmth. He could not care less about joining the Vil Zone. Family. The entire square gasped in shock. Now, pushing his limits on the Kano. Training bars. Cassian swears that this grueling pain will finally forge him into a weapon to destroy Lampas. He will drag his enemies down, even if it means burning in hell. Suddenly, he spots the twin girls warming up nearby. As he sprints away, they whisper about his insane, terrifying work ethic. It is definitely him. Aroma and Otay vow to keep this a strict secret from Wang. Back at his own dark apartment, Cassian steps into a steaming shower to soothe his battered muscles, towel drying his hair in the living room. He quietly wonders if Yuri is asleep, but a sudden anomaly catches his eye. She left an absolute disaster zone behind. Shaking his head, Cassian mutters, he will have to clean it up. Suddenly, his gaze drops to the mysterious letter. Yuri wakes up stretching. Surprised her brother is up early, but sees him holding her private letter. She quickly snatches it back, demanding to know what he was doing and if he read the contents. Cassian calmly notes, it looks like an invitation. Straight from America. Yuri hesitates, declaring she refuses to accept it. Cassian asks, why? And she insists she cannot just abandon him. The protagonist assures he will manage perfectly fine. Secretly thinking the solo life suits his plans, Yuri asks if he even knows how to cook or do his own laundry, let alone properly throw away expired food. Cassian sighs that he is no longer a child, but Yuri counters that he is 19 and just a high school senior. Still, the protagonist pushes her to take this once-in-a-lifetime chance. He tells her to stop worrying about his survival and chase her dreams. Meanwhile, deep in the Vil Zone district, 3 villains gather in the dark. Doubleblade notes 1 week is left, asking if he is truly showing up. Blackhand questions who they mean. Their boss smirks it is the guy, fated to face Juak, making the villain admit he wanted to crush him first. Doubleblade warns he even crushed Driver. Blackhand argues Driver must have gone easy on him, while Crush mocks if he lost too. The young rogue snaps, asking for a death wish. The knife villain smirks, saying they only get to face him if he beats Juak. Blackhand smirks, saying it will be fun to watch him get completely destroyed. Yet he plans to bet on him over Juak. He is still craving bloody revenge, and he will personally end his life. Later in his dark room, Moros asks if the protagonist truly supports Yuri leaving for America. Cassian calls it a golden opportunity for her, but the spirit questions if that is the real motive. The protagonist stays quiet, later admitting it is just as good for her as it is for his own goals, and he speaks not as Cassian, but as Quan Kang. Wu. Moros questions if he can survive living alone. The protagonist boasts of course, I survived alone in America. The ghost mockingly notes he is acting tough while secretly searching online for how to cook rice. In another quiet room, Yuri gazes deeply at the letter. She sighs heavily, pondering her heavy choices while echoing her boss and brother's words in her head. Later, her friends snap her back to harsh reality by shouting her name at a lively bar. They ask if she summoned them just to display a gloomy face and if she is stressing over some random guy. Her blonde friend quickly tells the nerdy girl to shut up. Soon, beers hit their table. The girls agree to just drink, knowing she will confess everything once. The liquid courage kicks into her system. Yuri instantly chugs her glass down. Back home, she is completely wasted. Cassian asks if she is alright and why she drank so much, but Yuri slurs that she is not drunk. She says her little brother is so cute, while Moro scoffs that she has lost her mind. The protagonist gently places her into bed. Yuri mumbles he used to follow her like a shadow, but now he is grown enough to protect her. Cassian instantly compares this memory to Jeff, recalling how mature he was to worry about him. He then gazes at his sleeping sister, fondly, warmly pulling the covers up while watching her rest. The next morning at the office, Yuri groans over a splitting headache from drinking way more than she ever should have, until spotting something on the table. She grabs the quick note from the protagonist. It reads he brewed a warm bean sprout soup for her hangover, which cures her pounding head. She just needs to heat it and add some rice. The sweet note. This Manhwa resumes. He boldly vows he's no helpless kid and can cook perfectly. At a bustling airport, Yuri warmly scolds him, begging him to eat properly and 3 full meals daily. She swears to send endless texts morning and night to guard him. She firmly warns him to double lock his doors against this dark, terrifying world. Our hero just warmly smiles, waving off her deep fear. Yuri begs for a call at any danger. Cassian softly chuckles, insisting he's that one ready to fly to America if she needs saving. A warm, unspoken connection shines in their bright smiles. Yuri bids farewell, promising a quick update. Upon landing, as her flight pierces the sky, Cassian watches quietly, eyes filled with deep longing. In the grim Vilzone district, Driver details that absolute victory needs a total surrender or a total knockout. Our fighter faces 3 brutal bouts. Just surviving earns respect, meaning 0 lethal penalties for defeat. Losing merely strips away his shot at challenging the reigning Vilzone boss. Annoyed, Cassian snaps at the chatter, demanding they begin. Driver flashes a wicked grin at Juak, and the fierce warrior nods. Moros warns Cassian to stay perfectly focused and ignore all cheap, filthy taunts. But our hero shrugs it off. Watching closely, Double Blade wonders, who wins, sheer speed or Juak's monstrous power? Juak is no mindless brute. She boasts elite close-quarters mastery and a battle-forged physique. Her sharp combat instincts make her a deadly tactician, manipulating battles to her absolute advantage. Relying purely on speed is pure suicide, making her Cassian's worst possible nightmare. Driver smirks, declaring the bloodbath open without any further delay. Juak explodes forward with lethal intent, roaring for first blood. In a flash, Cassian commands his creeping shadows, violently locking his enemy down. Mockingly, he projects his voice from above. Confused, Juak searches the sky. Double Blade screams a frantic warning that he attacks head-on, but suffocating darkness swallows her vision. Cassian pivots, with terrifying grace, landing a devastating head kick, knocking her out cold. Driver sighs heavily, while watching villains freeze in shock. The mighty Juak lies utterly broken. Cassian coldly demands his next victim. Blackhand questions reality itself. A single, flawless strike obliterated Juak, the most resilient tank in all of Vilzone. Dripping with total arrogance, Cassian furiously snaps at the cowardly crowd, leaving everyone terrified of this unknown, monstrous anomaly. Our hero fearlessly dares anyone craving a brutal beatdown to enter. Crush questions his allies' courage, when suddenly, a deadly dagger violently pierces the solid earth. Cassian slowly raises his gaze. Reddy fiercely snarls, warning against cockiness. He proudly declares himself the absolute apex predator of Vilzone, stepping up to fight. Meanwhile, in a shadowy, distant alleyway, a dark figure firmly scoffs at an impossible failure. They confidently dismiss the legendary Blood Rain entirely, having absolutely 0 expectations of him. A cold voice questions the Gadam district's fate. The shadowed informant vows it's imminent. Total ruin. They demand absolute blind trust, swearing their word is absolute law. Suddenly, back on the chaotic battlefield, a massive explosion violently erupts. Lethal arrows rain down, but Cassian evades with godlike speed as Moro screams about magical homing arrows. A deadly shaft rapidly locks. Cassian leaps into the air. He narrowly dodges the lethal arrow, which shatters a nearby building. Reddy smirks, declaring the hunt is finally over. He immediately takes aim from his high vantage point, unleashing a devastating barrage of arrows at our hero. Cassian blocks the onslaught with his bare arms. A massive explosion rocks the entire district. Reddy lowers his bow, seriously doubting if that was enough to crush his opponent, but suddenly, an ominous shadow begins to manifest right behind him. Reddy spins around, freezing as he locks eyes with Cassian. The hero coldly states the hunter has become the prey. Reddy raises his hands high, instantly surrendering. Cassian is utterly baffled and demands to know why. Reddy calmly explains that a sniper stands absolutely 0 chance in Close quarters combat. Cassian asks if he is seriously quitting over that. But the villain nods with dead seriousness. He never even planned to fight him directly. But Driver ordered this test. A high-tech drone was recording their entire clash. When Cassian questions it, Reddy sighs, saying he hated seeing anyone get badly hurt. He then tosses a strange patch over to Cassian, who asks what it is. Reddy reveals it is a desire suppression patch. Every single villain in this district uses one. You just stick it right behind your ear. It camouflages perfectly with your skin. Cassian remembers seeing this exact formula injected into imprisoned villains, but this is his first time seeing a patch version. He wonders what twisted genius created something like this. Reddy then drops a warning. His final opponent is Blackhand. That guy is explosive and totally unhinged, but he has a soft side, so do not go too hard on him. Cassian smirks, perfectly remembering exactly who that guy was. Meanwhile, back at the arena, Blackhand hesitates. Crush suddenly asks who won the clash. Doubleblade scoffs, saying the archer was doomed since he is terrible at solo fights. Plus, the kid had enough raw power to crush Juak in just one strike, but Blackhand roars that it was pure luck. He quickly shuts up when they question his denial. Crush smirks, asking if he is too scared to fight solo, suggesting a 3-on-1 ambush. Juak steps up, saying there is no shame in that. Even lions hunt together to bring down massive prey. But Blackhand calls them pathetic. He violently refuses to ally with weaklings, who got one-shotted. He proudly claims to be a lone, untouchable Siberian tiger. Juak glares coldly, stating she is not here to play games. This whole test is a total sham. They were nothing but stepping stones to make that kid look like a legend. Blackhand demands answers, and Juak aggressively tells him to shut up and listen. She overheard Driver at the Paradise Bar secretly plotting to make that rookie the new absolute boss. Blackhand screams in disbelief, but Ju-A insists Uchiha witnessed it too. He could verify the entire truth. The shocked villain denies reality, but Juak snarls that the kid is an absolute nobody. Handing him the supreme throne of the Vil Zone is an utter insult. She venomously asks if it infuriates him that this brat gets such massive favoritism from Driver. Now, they must make a critical choice. Will they rebel and crush him? Doubleblade nervously asks what her master plan is. Ju cracks a sinister smile. She reveals a hidden army of elite comrades, ready for a hostile takeover. Meanwhile, aboard Yuri's private jet, a stewardess, a warm meal. Wishing her well, Yuri checks the time, noting she still has a long journey ahead. Sighing at the window, she prays Kang Wu is taking good care of his meals. At the bloody tournament, Cassian casually bites his sandwich. Reedy offers it to restore his stamina. Cassian echoes the thought, and Moros suspects a trap. Our MC scoffs, remembering Jeff's old warning to always beware of overly kind strangers. Suddenly, heavy footsteps shatter the peace. A furious Blackhand storms toward our hero. Cassian smirks, realizing this guy is his next victim. Enraged, Blackhand barks, demanding what he did to Driver. Our MC plays dumb, asking what nonsense he's spouting. The villain snarls the question again. Suddenly, Crush swings a massive hammer from behind, shattering the earth as Cassian slips away. Doubleblade instantly strikes from his blind spot. Sensing the danger, Cassian perfectly counters with a crushing blow. The thug gasps, stunned by such monstrous reflexes. Falling back, he furiously slams his fist against the floor. Cassian flashes a devilish grin. He mocks them, stating they feared a fair fight, so they brought 3 men to cover up their pathetic weakness. But danger lurks nearby. Juak violently hurls a heavy barrel right at him. Cassian flawlessly evades, but a sudden shadow below catches him off guard. Juak smirks, revealing a 4-on-1 ambush while charging. A ruthless punch. The drunken strike blasts into our hero's gut. Meanwhile, Driver notes the passing time. He wonders how the rookie is holding up in the arena, and Crow teasingly asks if he means the Black Duck. Driver sighs, saying the kid lacks a proper villain title yet. The seductive woman pouts, claiming she is jealous of his obsession. Tracing his jawline, she purrs, begging for his undivided affection in exchange for 1,000,000 rewards. But Driver ignores her, deeply lost in thought about a badass alias for the boy. Reddy suddenly drops in, announcing his arrival. He chuckles at the lovebirds, mocking how they are always glued to each other. Driver praises his hard work today. Crow pivots back to the rookie, while Reddy questions who this mysterious Black Duck is. Without a word, Driver powers up his high-tech lenses. His eyes widen in shock. Crow demands answers, as Driver stays frozen, scanning the distant building where the savage battle is currently raging on. Elsewhere, a girl frantically texts Dirty Dog. A deafening boom echoes. She watches the district crumble into ash. Back to the fight. Cassian crashes hard into concrete, gritting his teeth. He regains his footing. Crush stomps forward, claiming his turn to strike. Rebounding off the wall, Cassian seizes the weapon, delivering a bone-crushing hook to the face. Blackhand charges, roaring for the arrogant punk to burn in hell. Our hero effortlessly evades the Otress sloppy strike, slipping behind him, sinking his dark claws into his foe's hair. He launches a devastating knee to the skull. The MC presses the assault, burying his fist into the villain's jaw. Crush recklessly charges again, cursing him out in blind rage. But Cassian brutally kicks the giant away. Another lethal strike zooms from his blind spot. Cassian sidesteps Juak, sweeping her off her feet. He viciously grabs her hair. Juak snarls in pure rage, surging with aura. Our hero obliterates her chin with a merciless knee. Blackhand groans in total disbelief, cursing how terrifyingly strong this rookie is. They never thought they'd lose. Gasping for air, Crush checks if he survived. Blackhand demands to know where A monster spawned from. Cassian narrows his cold eyes. B rank pointer scoffs. He looks tough. C++ rank hammer boy grins, saying a stronger prey just makes the hunt sweeter. Moros groans at the swarm, but Cassian simply smirks, noting that annoying flies never change. Pointer boils with raging fury. The villain's eyes widen in sheer terror, trembling uncontrollably as he backs away from Cassian's suffocating aura. Suddenly, another villain dashes in from behind, roaring, "He is all mine." He proudly declares himself the Guardian of Order. B+ rank Iron Mask steps up. He boldly puffs his chest, grabs his own shoulders, and vows to enforce justice and uphold absolute peace in the Ville Zone. Cassian casually dodges with a slight head tilt, asking what that nonsense was. Hammerboy charges in with his weapon, firing a sharp nail, screaming the glorious hunt has begun. Cassian effortlessly evades the strike, dashing forward in a lethal zigzag pattern. Pointer suddenly blocks his own Owlie's path. Hammerboy barks at him to move, but Pointer snaps right back, refusing to be bossed around. Igniting his fire spear, he sneers it is time for Cassian to taste his scorching flames. But Cassian ignites his own claw. Pointer freezes at the sight of the dark combustion, terrified by the sheer power of those black flames. Crush asks if he is a mage, while Juak yells at them for just standing around. She roars that it is time for their ultimate attacks. Charging her heavy barrel, she pours every ounce of explosive energy, screaming at him to go to hell. She fires. Cassian channels pure darkness. Returned. My eyes widen in pure shock. Wait, are you talking about the... Leaping forward with his brutal hammer, Cassian seamlessly morphs his shadow into a deadly sword, charging in and slicing the heavy hammer right in half. Pivoting sharply, he lands a devastating kick to crush his gut. Blackhand watches, paralyzed by fear, wondering what kind of absolute monster this bastard is. Without a single drop of hesitation in Cassian's eyes, he realizes in horror, they are the ones being hunted. But suddenly, a creeping force surges up to trap Cassian. A villain behind him smirks, bragging that he finally caught his prey. It is the cunning B-rank villain, Binder. Cassian looks slightly surprised, but Binder mocks his struggles. You will never break free, he snares, for it binds not just your physical body, but your deepest desires. As fellow Darkness attribute users, he claims resisting is just a waste of time. Moros frantically calls out, but Binder curses Cassian to rot in inescapable despair and taste hell. Seizing the chance, the others swarm in, eager to claim his life. Pointer sadistically vows to turn him into a kebab, yet Cassian catches the blazing spear barehanded. Everyone freezes in shock. Iron Mask roars that for the peace of his Ville Zone, he will execute this rebel, unleashing his execution of justice. Juak also dives in, screaming to take this fatal blow to the gut. Overwhelmed, Cassian's vision goes dark for a split second. Crush brutally smashes his back. The mob of villains crazily cheers, urging them to stomp his life out. Cassian's battered body slowly begins to fall. Finally, Blackhand delivers a savage kick to the pathetic insect. Suddenly, Kang Wu's voice echoes, mocking his weakness. Is this your absolute best? I took over your body for this? You truly deserve to die. Cassian's aura explodes as he chants his own name like a mantra. All The villains freeze in pure terror, and even Moros is stunned. Cassian felt absolute power surging through his veins. Meanwhile, backup flies toward the building. Crow smirks, asking if he's overthinking. What could possibly go wrong? Driver replies that a flawless execution is exactly what they need today. He notes that excessive casualties would just complicate things. Suddenly, a monstrous pressure hits them. Driver gasps, realizing that things have gone horribly wrong down below. Shuak tremble, asking what that terrifying aura is. The villains stare in shock, coming face to face with Cassian, radiating a catastrophic wave of dark energy. Binder panics, realizing he's breaking free. Juak charges, yelling not to fear him. They just need to crush him completely. But the protagonist glares back. He effortlessly slashes the threads, summoning dark blades from the earth. This instantly shatters Binder's trap, launching the villains into the air. One of the massive shadow blades barely misses Juak. Blackhand and Crush face the same terror. All the villains crash down, while Cassian stands invincible, shaken. Juak gasps. That was insane, roaring in fury. The protagonist swears that to get his revenge, he absolutely refuses to die here. Driver finally reaches the building, and Crow asks if that monster is Dark Horse. Driver notes that his mana points smash past 2,000. Crow gasps, and Red Eye swears it's impossible. Anyone breaking 2,000 mana points is a catastrophe. Class threat. Crow nervously asks for orders, fearing a bloodbath if they leave him unchecked. Driver just watches in silence. Moros screams for Cassian to regain control, demanding if he's truly surrendering to the madness. And where's that proud warrior spirit? Wake up, smirking. The protagonist replies that he's wide awake. He arrogantly sighs at the spirit, asking if it actually thought a momentary lapse in control would break his sanity. His mental fortitude isn't that fragile. He triggers his DSP point. Moros notices this instantly, realizing it's the stabilizer Red Eye gave him. Driver notes his regained composure, though Crow sighs, claiming it's a total pity to miss out on witnessing his absolute full power. The villain scans him with tactical glasses. Compared to his erupting mana levels from before, his power dropped by half. Did he only reach that monstrous peak by losing control? Moros checks on him, and the protagonist shrugs off the dizziness. With a piercing glare, he looks up, daring them to continue the bloodbath. Juak gnashes her teeth, calling him a bastard. But Blackhand cuts in, they surrender. It's their total loss. The woman snaps, demanding who gave him the authority. She argues he should quit on his own as the weakest link. Furious, Blackhand grabs her collar, landing a brutal punch as he roars. That's enough. He is disgusted that they ganged up on a single target, yet she still rejects defeat. Does she seriously want to drag their remaining villainous pride through the mud? Ju-A spits out a curse. Blackhand growls that if she's so desperate to fight, she can take it up with the boss. Suddenly, Driver steps onto the battlefield. Ju-A gasps. Cassian steps forward. Driver smirks, declaring Cassian the victor of this brutal trial for passing the brutal test. Cassian meets his gaze, asking if he is satisfied. Now, Driver flashes a grin, welcoming him into their dark family. Our hero lets out a smirk, declaring that since he is finally with true allies, he is crashing for a well-deserved rest. He immediately passes out. Meanwhile, over at Philadelphia International Airport, the American flag waves proudly. Yuri asks if he fell asleep, receiving total silence. Guess it is his bedtime. Just then, a stranger holding a welcome sign beams at her. Yuri spots her new manager. As the man drives with a warm smile, he introduces himself as Sean, the senior executive, asking if she wants to head straight to her room. Yuri accepts his kind offer, saying that sounds perfect. Curious, she asks about the true nature of the hotel manager. Sean claims he is quite a charming guy, but he is currently away. She can only meet him in 10 days, though she should ask him absolutely anything. Yuri bows her head, declaring that she will give it her absolute all. Years ago at the HC orphanage, young Cassian says he will become a legend just like Jeff. The older man chuckles, asking if he had not vowed to become a cool villain instead. Cassian gets flustered, saying it was just dumb childhood talk. Jeff's expression suddenly turns dead serious. He asks why he craves the hero path. Our protagonist proudly states he is inspired by his unyielding fight for true justice. Jeff sighs, noting he is still just a naive kid, but tells him to listen closely. Not all heroes walk the path of light. Confused, Cassian asks if heroes exist to crush evil villains, and Jeff slowly nods. The boy demands to know who truly represents justice. Is it the villains? Jeff falls into deep thought. He reveals that a true champion of justice never blindly trusts what the world sells as obvious truth. What he sees as righteous might be absolute darkness. Therefore, he must carve his own path as someone who defends true justice. He flashes a warm smile. Suddenly, Moros calls out, snapping Cassian to reality. He finds himself resting inside Driver's cluttered tool warehouse. Cassian groggily asks where he is, and Moros sighs in absolute relief. Cassian asks if the ghost was the one calling out, but Moros looks completely lost. Driver suddenly chimes in, saying they thought he was dead to the world, but glad he is finally awake. Driver grins widely while Cassian shakes off his daze. Over at the Lampa's Korean branch, Wu Chan approaches the room. He knocks 3 times, praising his sunbae for his speedy hospital recovery. However, De Wong is slumped on the cold floor in total despair. Wu Chan nervously flicks on the lights. He asks why he is in the pitch dark. De Wong weakly calls out to his junior. He mutters he cannot hear. The soul of his sword of great bears and 4 tigers. Wu Chan asks what he means by that nonsense, and the hero screams that his holy blade lost its soul. The life force is totally gone. He has never witnessed this and swears blood rain must have cursed it somehow. Wu Chan stares in absolute shock. Meanwhile, at Paradise Bar, Driver claims it is the greatest food joint in the V-Zone. To celebrate surviving the test, this epic feast is on him. Cassian sighs, asking if this is their only option. Driver laughs, saying they gotta boost Chiha's sales. Plus, he made sure to punish those scumbags from the exam incident. Cassian's mind flashes back to the chaos they faced. Yucha happily serves a dish, saying it is on the house. Cassian stares in pure shock. Does this place normally hand out such lavish perks? But Chiha grins. This grand feast is entirely to celebrate their new dam district chief. Cassian frowns. Driver explains he earned it by crushing numerous powerful Vidan Soto. Plus, Driver himself yielded their duel. Our main character sighs, reminding them he already rejected the chief title since he despises tedious chores. Driver quickly offers to handle all the boring paperwork and pay a fat monthly salary. Cassian smirks, agreeing to be a mere figurehead. Driver adds he truly wants him leading the entire V-Zone. They desperately need a boss with his overwhelming power and aura. Cassian scoffs, doubting people would blindly obey some monster like him. But Driver firmly states that despite the initial pushback, he has absolute faith in Cassian's potential, and absolutely nothing will shake his resolve. He knows this is their destiny, striking a deep chord within Cassian. The memory of their past conversation suddenly surfaces. Our main character stares deeply into his juice. Driver points out he lacks a villain alias and admits he's been brainstorming. Without missing a beat, he declares it's Cassian, shocking the entire room. He internally vows the elite hero Cassian is completely dead. Now, he is purely a villain driven by dark revenge, cementing his ultimate title as Cassian. Later, standing high above the sprawling district, Cassian gazes out. He vividly recalls the day Yuri boarded that flight. Moros had probed if he feared for his big sister's safety. Cassian shrugs it off, knowing she'll be totally fine. Yet, Moros finally drops the heavy question. Did he truly plunge into this villain zone just for raw power? Cassian coolly replies that amassing strength is crucial if you gather loyal allies to back you. But first, he must ruthlessly level up. The more blood he sheds, the deadlier he becomes, and every time he pushes his dark skills, his mastery fiercely deepens. He wonders if this is just the terrifying limit of a catastrophe-class villain. Thanks to it, he even unlocked legendary dual attributes, an absolute myth until now. Reaching his hand toward the heavens, he vows that with brutal, relentless training, he will finally ignite the first phase of his revenge. Moros hints they might even unearth the mythical exterminator's sword Jeff desperately hunted. Did he seriously forget that epic quest? Snapping back to reality, Cassian scans the Neon City. He mutters in disbelief that he's actually ruling the villain zone at Suha Arts High School within Gam District. Meanwhile, in a freshman classroom, rumors are flying wildly. Nayum casually sips her strawberry milk. She asks what has them so hyped. The girls squeal about breaking news from the villain zone. Like a dark Manhwa boss, she instantly recognizes him. The girls whisper, he's the terrifying new villain chief. Despite his scary vibe, they bet Wu Chan could beat him with one punch. Now Yoon stays quietly lost in thought, wondering if this boy truly rules the brutal villain zone. Cut to a gritty alley, Crush angrily tells them to drop the annoying subject entirely. Furious, Blackhand demands to know who forged that garbage ranking of the deadliest villains in the GAM district. Crush smirks, mocking him for being left off the list, but he fiercely denies it. Another thug reveals he ranks 6th. Doubleblade calls out the lies. As Blackhand screams the whole list is rigged, the thugs then question why the new boss picked Cassian as his villain name. Crush frowns, having noticed that Eerie, a top-tier hero, Blackhand scoffed, questioning if that guy even existed. Crush confirmed his fame, but the brute snarled, refusing to care about heroes, vowing to smash that bastard to a pulp. Doubleblade chimed in, noting his recent death, stabbed in the back and killed for ending the life of a comrade. Crush smirked, mentioning a dark street myth. If a villain takes a dead hero's name, they awaken absolute new power. Blackhand sneered, calling it absolute trash and utter nonsense. But Crush grinned, noting many villains actually try it. Search the villain zone, and you will spot a few fakes. Blackhand glared at the idiot, but Doubleblade warned them to stand down since they just survived the punishment room. He pondered if it was mere coincidence their names matched. If not, his mind echoed the chilling words, a new power. Meanwhile, down in the underground training area of the Trove Villain Zone, Cassian stepped out the shower, feeling totally reborn. Moros noted his double-intensity training. He worried if the main character's mortal body could handle this brutal pace, but Cassian brushed off the worry. He pushed his limits perfectly. His physical stats had completely evolved since before that last berserk awakening mutated his entire body. The guide Moros pondered this eerie growth. Suddenly, Driver slammed on the door, asking to enter. Cassian threw on his gear, while Moros urgently warned him that his villain persona wasn't active. Walking together, Driver asked if Cassian literally only trained all day. Cassian coldly told him to cut to the chase. An emergency meeting was called. The main character questioned why he had to attend the briefing. Driver grimly revealed that the prisoners locked in. The punishment room had broken out. The breakout was bad, but they fled straight to the Boxen Villain District. Inside a hideout, a thug cursed his massive failure after barely saving their turf. Yet, the fool still dared to show his bloodied face. A ruthless woman scoffed, stating that, with a new king ruling the district, that arrogant Driver was totally obsolete. The female boss clamped a cigar in her teeth, declaring she only needed a week to conquer Gadam district. She was none other than the S rank. Barracuda, Driver briefed them. 400 total rogues roamed the Gadam zone. Only 100 were true villains, while the pathetic rest were just street bums, surviving among criminals. These outcasts were far from normal humans. Back inside the tense war room, Driver announced that Jack and Pointer, the traitors from the punishment room, were officially teaming up. Following their bloody prison break, they headed straight for the Boxen Villain Zone. Cassian noted there were 4 major villain zones in Seoul, questioning why they chose that specific hellhole. Driver sighed, admitting bad blood. Those Boxen thugs had been eagerly waiting for an after first excuse to invade Gadam district for ages. Despite numerous polite warnings, the enemy completely ignored them. Cassian nodded sharply, asking if the boss of the Boxen district was Barracuda. Red Eye confirmed she was an S rank monster with a violently insane temper, constantly thirsty for a brutal fight. Driver scoffed, telling them not to fear an S rank title, since she heavily relies on items. Her prized weapons were Barracuda's fangs, rumored to a real magic crystal. Cassian absorbs this heavy revelation. Meanwhile, Driver warns their enemies have the numerical advantage, but the real threat, the high-ranked villains lurking among them. Reddy scoffs, knowing an attack means they have a sinister scheme prepared. Driver quickly points out that they cannot strike without a valid justification. They will definitely fabricate a fake excuse to declare war. Crow sneers, mocking the damn district villains for their sheer incompetence. So, their elite crew will lead the charge. Driver recalls past turf wars, brimming with absolute confidence. They will never fall in battle because they hold an incredibly powerful secret weapon. Driver asks his destination. Cassian simply replies he is heading home. Midterms are approaching, and he needs to study. Crow is baffled, and Reddy is utterly speechless. Meanwhile, at a city cafe, a young man warmly mentions it has been 6 months since their last reunion, urging they should hang out more often. Wu Chan calmly notes he never ignored any messages, prompting his friend to tease his lack of initiative. Ko Jiho, the support class, points out the autumn breeze and their looming graduation. He wonders if Wu Chan will debut as an active hero or choose college. Wu Chan leans toward the battlefield. His ultimate dream is to travel across the globe and forge his own legendary combat experience. Jiho argues that if so, he should have enrolled in a specialized training academy over a normal school. Wu Chan reveals it was his late father's dying wish. His friend falls into a heavy silence, assuming he wants to become an S-rank hero like his dad. But Wu Chan cuts him off. That is not enough. He hungers for the ultimate title, reserved for the 30 strongest alive. A first-class hero, Wu Chan takes a bitter sip of coffee, his eyes burning with a vow of bloody revenge against those monsters. Jiho hesitates, realistically pointing out that first class requires more than just raw magical power. They deeply evaluate actual combat mastery. It is an impossible dream for a support class. Yet, Wu Chan smirks, noting a support class already exists among the elite. Enough, doubting his potential. With his skills, achieving first class is destiny. He even captured the A-class assassin, Blood Rain, proving his supreme worth. Internally, Wu Chan sweats, remembering the real truth. Jiho beams, saying that incident made him an absolute legend at school. Brushing it off, Wu Chan checks his phone. He has to meet his younger sister, casually inviting Jiho to tag along. Jiho smiles, agreeing it has been ages since they last met. Outside, our main character strolls past the very same cafe, hunting for a specific book. Deep within the Boxen District villain zone, Barracuda march straight into the darkest punishment room. A deranged voice cries out for his missing toys, giggling about playing a twisted game of hide-and-seek. Hearing the heavy door creak open, the psycho snaps. Barracuda coldly admits he destroyed those toys. The madman snarls, threatening to rip out his tongue for the insult. Barracuda steps closer, aggressively grabbing his jaw to offer a brand new toy waiting in the damn district. The shackled maniac grins, claiming that is his sweet hometown. Barracuda smirks. Remember Driver, the former boss of Dam? The madman's eyes widen, calling him a beautiful friend. He would tear his eyes out. Barracuda sneers that he is no longer the boss anymore. Shattering their restraints, he orders them to the Gam district. Fresh prey awaits them. A bone-chilling smile stretches across the villain's face. Meanwhile, across the city, Nawan happily calls out to Minyoung, who was right behind her. She asks if she waited long, but Minyoung just arrived too. Nan admits she was completely shocked to receive a call from an unknown number. Minyoung reveals she changed her phone right after leaving the AT hospital, desperate to erase that nightmare from her memory. They stroll through the streets. Nan notes her older brother is at the library, so they will meet him there. Minyoung reveals a special gift, meant strictly for Wu Chan, wanting to deeply repay her savior's kindness. Later on at the city library, Nan breathes in the scent of an old book. Minyoung is confused, but Naona smiles, saying she absolutely loves that scent, and new books as well. However, she is hunting for a specific book, promising to find it and be right back. Minyoung curiously asks what she is looking for. Nan replies it is a cookbook for her brother. Intrigued, her friend eagerly joins the search, whispering loudly that she found it, but as she reaches out, Kang Woo grabs it from the shelf. Nan pouts, claiming she saw it first. However, the hero counters that his hand claimed it first. Glancing down, he recognizes Nan, the girl from the previous incident. Seeing her safe and sound now, he kindly yields the book. Kang Woo walks away, whispering to Moros not to worry, since the staff should have extra copies in stock. Stunned, Nan is left, completely speechless. Elsewhere, the blonde thug strikes a punching bag, boasting about a new record. The nerd calls him a total freak. Kai-hun complains the vibe is dead. The nerd questions him, but the bored blonde sighs that life lacks excitement. Suddenly, a shadow asks if he is seeking a thrilling game. Kai-hun jumps up, demanding their identity. The stranger promises a very special gift. He laughs, highly amused by the thug's pathetic quest for entertainment, mocking his trembling fear. Kai-hun recognizes the villain. The menace asks if he dislikes the idea, offering a fake chance to refuse. The thug panics, but the villain instantly denies his plea, since letting him go ruins the fun. Forcing the sinister mask onto his head, he swears he will love it. Kyun blacks out for a moment, before a twisted face tears open. On the gift, the villain coos over his cute new toy, asking if they are ready to play a deadly game. He is the A-rank toy maker. Meanwhile, back at the library, Nan cheerfully calls out to her older brother, announcing her arrival. Woo-won asks why she waited around helplessly when they could have just met up at a cozy cafe. Non explains she desperately needed to buy the simple cookbook she was hunting down. Woo-won chuckles, having only mentioned it casually, and thanks her. Ji-ho teases that it is his first time seeing this dynamic. The hero trainee warmly asks if Min-young is fully recovered, and she thanks him. Nah. Yoon then reveals she brought a special gift to thank him for saving her life. The other day, elsewhere, a bookstore worker deeply apologizes. The requested book is entirely out of stock. Suddenly, Kang-woo spins around at a jarring noise. Ji-ho asks what is happening, as the city ground violently quakes. Woo-chan realizes, Manhwa fans, Kang-woo spins. Get down, they roar. As the library glass explodes. What was that? Woo-chan gasps. The TV-headed Ki-hoon twitches, eyeing everyone with a creepy glare. Meanwhile, in the villain zone, Driver tightens his gear, cursing the midterms. He's totally swamped with his studies until breaking news flashes. Emergency broadcast, reports say. Freaks with gift box heads are terrorizing the Gadam shopping district. Police declared a villain strike. We go live to our art. Reporter. Driver scoffs at the gift boxes. Crow smirks, having watched the broadcast live. He knows exactly who's behind this chaos. It's none other than that psycho. The same lunatic who fled after a brutal beatdown 3 years ago. Back at the ruined library, our rookie heroes brace for combat. Ji-ho shouts, is that a villain? But the grotesque gift box mutant simply smiles like a demon. Boom! Creepy plushies burst from its giant head, launching straight at our hero squad like deadly projectiles. Woo-chan smashes one to pieces. Ji-ho throws a raw, powerless hook. Meanwhile, another cursed toy ambushes Non from the blind spot, spewing toxic bubbles. The girls scream in terror. Bam! The plushie gets violently crushed. Kang-woo wields a heavy book as his weapon. Non gasps a quick thank you. Our MC glares down, realizing it's just a lifeless doll. The boxed beast screeches, spawning more toy minions. Here comes the second wave. Ji-ho warns. Woo-chan steps up, vowing to annihilate it. Cover me. Absolute scum like villains must be wiped out. He growls, but Kang-woo blocks his path. Stop. Are you seriously going to kill a civilian? Kang-woo reveals the horrific truth. This monster is just a puppet, a mind-controlled hostage trapped by the enemy. Ji-ho freezes in shock, wondering how he deduced that. The ironclad rule of a hero. Kang-woo lectures coldly. Is civilian safety first. Keep your head cool and think rationally. Woo-chan clicks his tongue. How does this guy know the hero code? Kang-woo roars. Watch your front. No time to chat. The infected civilian charges forward, throwing a lethal punch. Woo-chan perfectly backsteps. Ji-ho screams at his ally to fall back immediately, igniting his combat aura. Woo-chan grits his teeth, analyzing the boxed freak. If this really isn't a villain, but an innocent citizen trapped as a meat shield, he instantly channels his true power, activating his divine restoration skill. The grotesque cardboard begins to melt right off his face. Kune slowly reverts to human. Did it actually work? Ji-ho gasps. Min-young cheers her cool dad. Kang-woo smirks. He knew the guy wasn't a bad guy. His instincts were flawless. Kun fully regains his humanity. Ji-ho is stunned, so this is Woo-chan's hidden power. Non demands to know his motive. Woo-chan stays completely silent. Meanwhile, a chaotic bloodbath consumes the city. Box-headed mutants are tearing the streets apart. Killer toys massacre civilians. The sinister toy maker giggles. Such a fun party. But then his grin drops. Sensing his connections snap. Someone broke my precious toy. I'll have to crush them to dust. He prepares to hunt the heroes down. But suddenly, Driver blocks his path. You're dead meat. Toymaker slowly turns, smiling wickedly. Driver cracks his knuckles. I warned you about causing a mess in the Gadam district. But the arrogant villain just laughs. He ignores all warnings. He bites his lip at those words, sneering about their heartwarming reunion. He claims he missed those brilliant eyes, just so he could gouge them out with his bare hands. Mad laughter echoes as he charges forward relentlessly. Unfazed, Driver draws his weapon back, unleashing a devastating thrust. He curses the annoying puppets, his patience wearing incredibly thin. This twisted reunion brings zero joy, warning that his rising fury is about to erupt. Meanwhile, in the villain zone, news blares on screen, but Barracuda scoffs at the dull display. He craves a much grander, far more explosive opening to properly entertain those Gam district bastards. The A-rank Rockin' growls, demanding they just smash through head first and obliterate everything. An A- rank ice demon coldly smirks, ready to freeze the entire world solid. Barracuda brushes them off, completely uncaring, but strictly forbids anyone from touching operator. The woman lurking behind claims the tastiest prey. A- rank, Smoker asks, to hunt crow, joking about craving chicken and wondering how a deeply smoked crow would taste. From the shadows, someone asks if they can freely choose their prey, eyes locked entirely on the legendary Cassian. This A+ rank, Black Ghost makes Smoker chuckle at his weird obsession. Meanwhile, Barracuda notes they mean the new boss. He grants full permission to hunt, earning a chilling thanks from Black Ghost. Smoker then questions the fate of Toymaker. Barracuda ruthlessly reveals he planned to discard him anyway. The fool was merely a pawn to ignite this festival. A wicked grin spreads, knowing Gam will finally fall into his grasp. Across the chaotic city, a screeching puppet with a gift box head charges blindly forward. It rushes, panicked civilians, hurling explosive plushies until flashy new abilities strike its head. Jiho proudly declares the rescue complete. Securing victim 3, they must apprehend the villain before more blood spills, though Jiho warns that charging blindly is suicide. Backup is already on the way, so holding their ground is smartest. But Wu Chan argues that hesitating means utter slaughter. This lunatic is definitely the rumored Toymaker. Wu Chan recalls the horrifying files from Dam's villain registry. He is a lethal psycho chasing twisted thrills. Meanwhile, in another sector, Kang Wu intensely checks his phone. Moros senses trouble, prompting our main character to reveal driver's urgent call. The mastermind orchestrating this disaster is Toymaker. Moros clicks his tongue at the headache as Kang Wu prepares to move, but Moros warns of the surrounding crowd. Our main character decides a stealthy exit is best. No one questions his sudden departure, so Kang Wu lies about heading home. She quickly objects, terrified of the lurking dangers, and Minyong vigorously agrees with her hero brother's logic. Moros chuckles that slipping away just got much harder. Kang Wu feels trapped, but his honed instincts suddenly flare. A terrifying shadow plummets from above holding a deadly gift. Kang Wu instantly launches forward, saving both girls with a blindingly fast dodge. As he turns, the crowd gasps in awe, while Toymaker praises his ridiculous speed. Wu Chan desperately sprints near, but Toymaker lands with a heavy thud, sneering at those who broke his toys. Declaring it's time for a lethal lesson, Jiho hesitates, but Wu Chan growls that the enemy came to them. The Toymaker smirks at the fame and promises a deadly reward, unveiling a twisted present just for the hero. He claims it's an ultra-rare drop while dashing forward. Wu Chan ignites a blazing aura. The Toymaker halts abruptly. The hero unleashes roaring flames, but the freak just smirks, tossing his deadly gift straight through the fire. A fish plushie bursts out, blasting a torrent of water. This forces Wu Chan to extinguish his flames to block the strike. Non screams for her brother. Wu Chan crashes into the wall. The Toymaker charges in, declaring checkmate. He then begins cackling like a total maniac. Wu Chan curses until a smartphone strikes the Toymaker's head. The villain glares, demanding who dared to ruin his fun, but his blind spot glows red. Wu Chan charges his blazing fist of absolute fury, landing a devastating blow while roaring for him to eat dirt. The twisted Toymaker is launched through the air, violently skidding across the harsh asphalt. Wu Chan blinks at the bizarre assist, spotting the phone. He realizes it's familiar, because it belongs to him. Kang Wu asks if he witnessed that, and Moros nods, now and through the device to save her brother. The protagonist is shocked to witness her mana curve spiking. He realizes her awakening is dangerously close. Yet, the heroes sense a chilling truth. That Toymaker was merely a lifeless puppet. A booming laugh echoes from the dark alley. The real Toymaker mocks them for being so naughty, acting completely heartless when his precious toys are smashed. However, it doesn't matter at all. He still has an army of deadly toys. Meanwhile, at Lampus HQ in South Korea, De Wong bursts in with a lame bathroom excuse. His colleague snaps that they face a total disaster, and thanks to him, Wu Chan is in grave danger. The hero notes Sunbai's new ride, but she barks at him to shut up and get in. Elsewhere, the elite hero briefs that this brutal siege is hitting Dam's central district. With every passing second, the civilian casualties will skyrocket in that volatile sector. This is A+ rank powerhouse. Ji-sun. Da Wong asks if the mad Toymaker has truly returned. Jiun scoffs, asking if he just realized that his partner, Kim Wu Chan, sent an SOS asking for urgent backup. Duong panics, asking if he's fighting completely solo. Ji Song note it's slightly better since rookie apprentice Jiho is there. So, Daewang insists they must call immediately to stop any suicidal moves. But his son Bai strictly warns that she ordered them to lay low until backup arrives. Things will turn disastrous if they rush in blindly like the infamous blood rain incident. No matter how you look at it, this smells like a massive trap. That psycho vanished 3 years ago. Yet, now he respawns out of thin air. His motives were always a twisted enigma, and he likely grew bored of his shadowy exile. But this nightmare isn't just hitting Seoul. Similar violent uprisings are erupting in every single villain zone nationwide. It's like a puppet master is sparking a massive turf war, turning all the rival zones into a bloody battle royale. If some bastard intends to dominate the entire underworld, he's the only one reaping the benefits. Duong frantically notes Wu Chan's signal went dead, prompting Jiyun to order a redial. The hero panics, shouting, "The line is completely dead and the worst must have happened." Meanwhile, in a dark sector, a stealth drone hovers. Driver silently observes the entire battlefield. Death rains from above. The toy maker cackles as a sinister gift box hurtles down, mocking them to play this deadly game until their very last breath. Then, he unleashes a barrage of bombs at our heroes. Wu Chan dashes forward, smashing each explosive with blazing fists. But as he strikes the final box, creepy plushies erupt from inside, tightly binding his arm. Wu Chan freezes in shock as the 7N twisted villain cheers. He just won the ultra-rare stickies. He gloats that Wu Chan will become his ultimate masterpiece. More deadly toys launch at the trapped hero. Kang Wu screams at the blue-haired rookie, frantically demanding action. He begs him to cast his skill on Wu Chan. Jiho finally snaps to his senses, while the villain laughs off their pathetic attempt. But Jiho triggers his healing aura instantly. The cursed toys melt away. The toy maker shrieks in pure denial, howling at them to stop breaking his precious collection. Wu Chan counters with a brutal elbow strike, launching the maniac into a wall. He winds up for a finisher, but the villain evades every fiery blow, suddenly choking the young hero. "Gotcha," he sneers, claiming Wu Chan should feel honored to be crafted into a legendary toy. Suddenly, a dark phantom blade slashes his hand. Thick ropes of pure shadow manifest, tightly binding the villain, who panics in utter confusion. Seizing the opening, Wu Chan ignites his blazing fist, delivering a massive uppercut. "Who is the toy now?" he roars, blasting the scumbag across the shattered room. The deranged villain instantly blacks out. Jiho anxiously calls out, but the fiery rookie just stares at the fading darkness, recognizing the signature aura of our dark hero. High above, Driver calmly watches the entire Manhwa battle. He scratches his cheek, choosing to play dumb. Later, at his apartment, Wu Chan watches the news. Anchors report on the chaos inside the Gadam district from yesterday afternoon. An eager reporter asks if they can confirm the toy maker was the true mastermind. Heroine June gravely confirms the horrors and the massive civilian casualties. The journalist then asks for her opinion on why Gadam City villains are suddenly running wild. The veteran hero explains, the zone was built to prove containment works. Statistically speaking, these villain sectors actually lower overall crime rates. The anchor concludes that this terrifying new wave of rogue attacks inside the Gadam district was clearly born from heavy security negligence. The reporter thanks June for her deep insight, demanding a total system reconstruction and immediate tactical countermeasures. If our brave heroes had not risked their lives on the front line, the body count would have been catastrophic. He also notes the viral rumor that rookies Wu Chan and Jiho carried the battle. He asks if these young prodigies truly deserve the spotlight as the greatest rising stars of Lampass, South Korea. June hints at rumors of their early promotion to full status. Exhausted, Wu Chan kills the screen, recalling Dong boasting about his proud partner. Still, his mind loops back to that rogue anti-hero saving them, deeply questioning why a monster would protect them. Staring at his glowing screen, he mutters Cassian, the very same legend he once idolized. Meanwhile, Aroma nervously sighs that things just got dangerously complicated. Munching on a cookie, Wong warns that an extremist faction is plotting to invade the zone, actively brainwashing the media. Driver asks if rival sectors have reacted, but Wong grimly replies, they've gone silent. But this fate was inevitable anyway. Driver remarks, meaning they already knew this was a setup that makes them the very first sacrifices. He asks if damn looked that easy. Wong offers his backup if necessary, but Driver scoffs, You are just showing off a duty you are already bound to fulfill. Yet, they hold an invincible trump card. Wong demands to know his whereabouts. Someone sneers at his total absence, while Aroma trashes that so-called hero. Driver smirks. He's taking his midterms right now. The trio is left utterly dumbfounded. At Gatham High School, Kang Woo is relaxing on the roof, assuring Yuri on the phone that all is well. He's also eating good food and cooking properly, so she needs to stop worrying and focus on herself. Yuri sighs. How can I not worry after that crazy incident in Jam yesterday? She anxiously asks if he was near the danger zone. Kang Woo calmly lies, claiming he was just home studying. Yuri notes it's almost time for his midterms, and our main character confirms they start today. He's pushed his limits. Yuri urges him on, reminding him that results are everything. Suddenly, Wu Chan materializes behind him. Kang Woo quickly excuses himself, lying about a bathroom break before hanging up. He turns to Wu Chan, who simply calls his name. Cut to Yuri's restaurant in America. She wonders if her brother was stressed about the exams. She regrets not mentioning the anxiety meds in her drawer. Suddenly, Sean calls out, relieved to have finally found his boss. He had been trying to reach her everywhere. Yuri explains she was calling her brother, asking if an emergency broke out. Sean shakes his head. It's not bad news. The general manager has officially returned from his business trip. He was so eager to see Yuri that he skipped going home and rushed straight to the restaurant. Inside the manager's office, Sean swings the door wide open, announcing their arrival. A man gazes out the window before turning around. Sean proudly presents manager Yuri. She silently studies the imposing figure, wondering if this is the big boss. He introduces himself as Vincent, adding, an honor to meet her. Back on the high school roof, Kang Woo asks if he has business to discuss. Wu Chan shuts his eyes, thanking him for yesterday, admitting they were completely doomed without his help. Our main character raises an eyebrow. Did he really come just for thanks? Wu Chan praises his ice-cold focus during the crisis. He brilliantly analyzed the battlefield and struck without a hint of fear. I need to learn from that, Wu Chan admits, suddenly shoving a mysterious bag into his hands. Kang Woo stares, puzzled. My sister insisted you take this, a token of gratitude for saving us yesterday. He adds a spicy detail. Other than family, she's never gifted anything to a guy before. This was a nightmare to track down, so appreciate it. As he turns to walk away, he pauses. By the way, during the chaos, did you spot a mysterious man in black? But he stops himself, brushing it off. Forget I even asked. Just crush those midterms. Moro senses a strange aura from the bag, and Kang Woo eagerly tears it open to reveal its secret. His jaw drops when he pulls out a basic cookbook. Meanwhile, deep in the villain zone of Dam District, Driver and Crow patrol the shadows. They plan to erect an impenetrable barricade. Hammerboy steps up, declaring he'll handle the heavy lifting. Make sure it's indestructible. Driver. Out front, they plan a trench. Dirt Dog asks just how deep this trap needs to go. Crow asks if the boxing gang is really coming. Driver confidently replies he's absolutely certain. That's why he's going all out. They want it alive. Audience for their war declaration. He then casually asks how Cassian's exams went. Bam. Hammerboy triggers his weapon buff, while Dirt Dog activates his master digging skill. Cassian asks what is happening. Driver replies that they are prepping for a sudden enemy ambush. Besides, they only have 13 men on their side, but with solid prep, they can crush them all. Driver then asks where he is heading. Cassian simply replies he is off to meet you, Cheha. Driver asks if he is day drinking, while Crow teases that they should drink wine alone at her place, over at Paradise Bar. The manager wipes a glass. Yuge asks if he is buying high-quality magic stones and how many. Cassian demands the entire stock. The guy doubts he can pay, mentioning he will tally it up, but strictly no promissory notes allowed. Cassian asks how many he actually has. Yuge pauses to think. He claims he went all out, and that his bank card is totally real. He offers to show the goods and asks him to follow him down into the vault. Cassian stands before a massive staircase, leading into the dark. Inside, Usha opens a box, revealing he holds 5 premium magic stones in his stash. Cassian coldly remarks that it is not nearly as many as expected. The insane price is listed on the form, as he knows these are priceless. The superior grade stones are exceptionally high quality. Cassian agrees to buy the lot, demanding the seller give him a steep discount. But Yuge says that is impossible. Our hero tries to argue. This greatly annoys the seller, who finally agrees to sell them at the full price. but strictly demands all payment up front. Cassian just tells him to send the bank details. Flashback to yesterday, he alone knows about a secret Swiss bank account in Cassian's name. Moros asks if he kept an emergency fund. Kang Wu says Jeff advised him to make one, just in case something went wrong. He admits he accessed it, leaving Moros utterly shocked. It was a massive fortune. Kang Wu sighs. If he knew this fate awaited him, he would have hidden all his assets there. Moros asks how he plans to spend this massive wealth. The protagonist smirks, vowing to invest it to boost his own strength. Yuchi grins, saying it was a pleasure doing business with him, and that he should return anytime. He grabs his cell phone, deeply wondering just who this guy is to drop such insane cash at once. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the bustling city, Minyoung asks what to eat. Non happily suggests sweet mango parfait. They take a seat, and the desserts arrive. Minyoung points out that it looks amazing, while Non happily notes the extra mango. She then asks if she remembers where their mysterious savior from yesterday went. Minyoung says she is clueless. He likely just headed home. Non brings the sweet treat to her lips. Suddenly, a memory flashes of Kang Wu running off. Minyoung starts to call her friend's name in concern. She asks what is wrong. Watching her suddenly drop the spoon, the truth hits Non like a truck. He is the one. She abruptly excuses herself to the restroom. Minyoung says it is down at the hall's end. As Non walks away, a sinister figure watches her. Black Ghost. Watching from the shadows, she washes her hands, fully convinced. Minyoung and Oe saw absolutely nothing. A dangerous thought blooms. What if she exposed his secret identity? Suddenly, dark aura erupts. Cassian manifests right behind her. Non demands answers, but the villain stays dead silent. Meanwhile, Minyoung grows restless, wondering why her texts are ignored. Is she on a call? Just then, a blood-curdling shriek shatters the peace. Civilians scatter in terror, screaming about a villain. Cassian emerges, carrying Non. Minyoung freezes in sheer horror. The villain glares. Are you her friend? Go. Deliver a message to her brother. Tell him to step into the GOM district's villain zone if he wants his sister back. Later, in Gadam, Blackhand surveys the chaotic scene. Doubleblade smirks, claiming it's a lethal trap for the Boxen thugs. Annoyed, Blackhand insists they should strike first. Ready to charge in blind, he is halted by Doubleblade. Don't move a muscle. The ground is rigged. Confused, he hesitates while his comrade warns about Dirt Dog's hidden mines. Suddenly, Crush spots an imposing shadow approaching fast. Panic hits. Is that Kim Woo-chan? Blackhand scoffs, completely clueless, asking if it's just another Boxen district villain. Doubleblade roars. He's a trending hero breaking the internet. The arrogant villain screams that this psyker is dead meat. Aura ignites around his fist as he orders his crew back. No hero survives this turf, he snarls, vowing to make this fool pay in blood for trespassing. But blazing with raw fury, Wu-chan charges his psyker energy. Move, he commands, eyes locked. I just want my little sister back, but with one wrong step, he triggers the deadly snare. A massive explosion rocks the zone. Caught completely off guard, Blackhand tumbles into a crater. Crush snaps, demanding who called him an idiot. Inside Cassian's sanctuary, the dark hero absorbs the magic stones. Sinister aura crackles as his power spikes. Moros asks for his status after devouring 5 top-tier mana crystals. Nothing changed, Cassian mutters, ordering him to use the appraisal eye. A glowing system window pops up. Seeing his pitiful 860 mana points, Cassian scoffs at barely hitting B rank. Moros explains these low-grade stones are losing their effect. They need a pure crystal to break through limits. Refusing to snack on garbage, Cassian vows to rely on brutal physical training instead. Moros laughs, knowingly, teasing that his host will love the massive mana spike, triggered by his recent burst of pure wrath. Studying the holograms, Cassian's eyes narrow at a strange numerical update next to his skills. Moros reveals the twin shadow blades evolved during the bloody duel against Blood Rain. Suddenly, a heavy knock interrupts. Driver announces an uninvited guest, the hero Kim Woo-chan. A dark smirk crosses his face as he turns around. Cut to the Boxen villain zone, where a drone hums overhead. In the rotting corridors, Black Ghost marches with Non, slung over his shoulder, dark aura leaking. Meanwhile, Smoker waits. Black Ghost suddenly materializes before his boss. Barracuda flashes a wicked smirk. The assassin confirms the girl is caged, and the ruthless Barracuda nods. Smoker questions if they will corner the GOM villains next. The boss chuckles, claiming this makes the game thrilling. The breaking news will soon frame Cassian for kidnapping a hero's precious family. This serves as perfect bait. The media will swarm the scene like a pack of starving wolves. Barracuda plots to isolate their faction completely from those doomed fools. Once their targets are trapped and defenseless, the real invasion of the G-Dam villain zone begins. Meanwhile, deep in the shadows, Cassian coldly assesses the chaos while a restrained Wu Chan struggles. He denies capturing the boy's little sister, recalling Non. Cassian scoffs, stating, "Such cowardly tactics are beneath him." Driver chimes in, backing up his boss. With absolute certainty, the enemy didn't just steal a hostage. They framed their crew. Those Boxin scum plotted a filthy scheme to ruin them. Wu Chan fiercely gnashes his teeth, accusing them of lying. He roars in agony, demanding his sister's location. Driver calmly notes they will raid Boxin soon. But first, the truth must be revealed. Cassian orders his release, leaving the entire crew in absolute shock. The protagonist declares they will shatter this false illusion right now. Wu Chan glares with burning rage as drone footage begins to play. Driver smirks at his flawless preparation, proving that Barracuda orchestrated everything. Anticipating a trap, he cleverly deployed a spy drone to Boxin. Crow praises the crystal-clear video. Cassian demands the imposter's identity. Driver reveals it must be Black Ghost, wielding his signature mimicry skills. The main character seeks details, and his ally explains the flawless disguise. Wu Chan watches, stunned by the perfect clone. Cassian shrugs it off. The true enemy is exposed, and it is time for a brutal beatdown. Framing him for kidnapping means war. Wu Chan furiously declares a ruthless execution. If they are invading the Boxin villain zone, he vows to join the bloody crusade to save his sister. Driver smirks, noting they have massive backup as Crow volunteers. His comrade chuckles, claiming the setup is thrilling and today marks Boxin's downfall. Suddenly, Blackhand and his wild squad crash the meeting, demanding to join the upcoming slaughter. If a war is brewing, they crave a taste of the action. Cassian calmly accepts their violent enthusiasm, but warns that one crucial matter must be settled first. Driver echoes the sentiment, piercing Wu Chan with a stare. The young hero freezes in pure confusion. Meanwhile, at the luxurious Levan Rose Hotel, Wong greedily admires magnificent jewels. Their radiant beauty is absolute perfection. As he drools over the treasure, Otai and Aroma mock his obsession, calling him utter trash. Suddenly, Wong's phone blares. He snaps in annoyance, claiming he is working, but his eyes widen in pure shock. The fierce twins watch in awe as Wong triggers his transformation. He declares this is his time to shine and demands they leave the mission to him. Back in the dangerous depths of the Boxin district, Kang Wu stands tall, arms crossed. He questions if this is the infamous enemy territory. Driver steps up, warning that once they enter, there's no turning back. It is time to review the master plan one final time. Wake up, rookie. Don't just sit there like a clueless idiot, he barks, calling Red Mask over. A quick flashback reveals why Wu Chan even holds that disguise. Driver tossed it to him, demanding he wear it to join them. Why? Cassian smirks. A hero fighting side by side with villains? That's just absurd. Driver laughs, saying the mask was a joke, but now it's his only cover. Want to avoid crazy rumors? Put it on. Driver then shifts gears, declaring their true target, the elite bosses of the Boxin district. Cassian vows to crush the leaders and save the hostage. Crow grins. His plan? It's an absolute checkmate. Cassian demands the quickest route, declaring that victory demands a lightning-fast ambush. Time for battle formations. He barks out the orders. Driver takes point. Scouting ahead, Cassian will breach the front lines, while Crow provides sniper cover. Wu Chan questions the close combat plan, and Cassian orders him to guard their rear. Crow asks what that even means. Before Cassian can finalize the objective, Blackhand interrupts. He furiously whines about being completely ignored, treated like mere background decorations. Crush roars that they should just smash everything in their path, but Cassian assigns them a crucial secret mission. While the main team strikes and falls back, those two must perfectly secure the escape route. They must stay absolutely hidden and avoid capture. As the meatheads bicker, Red Mask's mind races back to the past. He remembers his old mentor's hero training. The true path to victory is a relentless, swift ambush. He remembers the warm pat on his head and the praise that he was a genius kid destined for greatness. Red Mask is utterly stunned. This villain uses the exact same tactics, High above the city, the strike team readies up. Driver's drone silently glides to a camera, hacking into the day. Mainframe. His tech powers easily hijack the enemy network. Driver smirks. Targets number 10 and 11 are completely secure. Every front security feed is now totally blind. Crow chuckles. Impressed, Cassian signals the invasion. They plunge toward the stronghold like shadows. Red Mask hesitates for a heartbeat, then dives after them. He prays for his sister's safety, vowing to tear through the enemies to save her. Deep inside the enemy base, Nan lies unconscious on the cold floor. Suddenly, her eyes snap open. She realizes she's locked in a dark cell. Panic sets in as she scrambles up, completely disoriented. But as her hands graze the floor, her aura explodes. To life. She realizes that imposter wasn't him. But how did she know that? While knocked out, suddenly, heavy footsteps echo from the dark hallway. Outside the base, Blackhand throws a massive tantrum. He screams that they shouldn't be babysitting an escape route. Crush roars an agreement. Real villains just smash the front door. Double Blade sighs, begging the idiots to just shut up. They were benched because they're way too loud and reckless. Blackhand furiously deflects the blame. Double Blade shakes his head, thinking, this meathead literally has no brain. He then whispers that their new boss is acting super strange. The others lean in. During the briefing, the boss radiated the overwhelming aura of a high-ranking hero. Blackhand furiously demands to know what that means. Crush admits it wasn't a yell, but a voice. Who goes there? A voice rings out. Recognizing Juak, Crush realizes they're busted. The fierce woman demands their business in the Boxen district, a place they definitely do not belong. Sizing up her prey, she mocks them, assuming these damn losers came to beg Boxen for mercy. Blackhand demands what she means, telling her to shut her trap. Suddenly, a booming voice asks why. It's so noisy. The invaders freeze in absolute terror. It is Rockhand himself. Scowling, he asks if these pathetic fools seriously thought they could spy on his territory this blatantly. Blackhand bristles at the insult. Uok sneers, claiming these weaklings lack espionage skills and simply crawled here to surrender their lives. Enraged, Blackhand barks back that he actually came to conquer Boxen. Double Blade sweats nervously, recalling their strict orders to stay absolutely hidden. Rockhand smirks. This punk wants to claim his district. Such Manhwa arrogance. Yet, he praises their bravery, challenging them to prove their sheer guts can smash a boulder. Blackhand scoffs at the ridiculous metaphor. After all, his steel-crushing fists can obliterate any mere rock. Deep within the enemy fortress, a shadow looms. Barracuda sits in absolute silence, his mind drifting into a bitter flashback. Back in the gritty Jam district, a younger driver questioned his wild ambition to unify every single Soul Zone. Barracuda argued a united villain front meant absolute power, no more living in fear of pathetic heroes. His grand vision was to dominate the country, and eventually the world. But Driver coldly cut his delusion short, telling him to chase that dream alone, refusing to drag kids into his selfish power trip. Confused and insulted, Barracuda demanded answers. Driver stated he was acting like the cowards who trample the weak. Disgusted, he firmly rejected the alliance, taking his two comrades with him. Furious, Barracuda cursed the traitor, but Driver instantly leveled his weapon, issuing a death threat. The sheer bloodlust made Barracuda flinch. Driver's ally chimed in, warning him to back down before things got bloody. Snapping back to the present, Barracuda rises with a dark aura. Footsteps echo. A girl confidently announces her arrival with scouting report. Barracuda demands the intel. Banklands girl reveals 3 pathetic damned trespassers were caught lurking near their borders. These B-rank scums triggered the perimeter. Intrigued, the underworld boss asks who intercepted them. The scout confirms Rockhand took the stage. Barracuda smirks, noting his enforcer could easily crush them. Yet something felt terribly off. He orders a full sweep of the shadows. Those fools are obviously just cheap bait. Driver is far too cunning for such basic tactics to work. Summoning his elite K9 Teeth squad, he prepares for absolute war. If rival bosses dare to attack his stronghold, he will annihilate them, especially Driver. That bastard will learn he isn't the weakling from before. Meanwhile, outside the fortress, Cassian asks if this is the core members' den. The infiltration went surprisingly smooth, and Crow boasts it was entirely her brilliant doing. Driver interrupts, stating they must scout the enemy forces inside. A comrade questions his method, and he reveals a high-tech sub-miniature drone. Watching this, Red Mask notes that Driver would be a terrifying enemy. Suddenly, a rustle echoes behind them. One asks if their cover is completely blown, but Cassian simply reacts with a cold. This boredom ends now. Left with no choice, he signals the strike for a rapid ambush. Suddenly, thick fog blinds their vision. A sinister mist. Red. Mass demands answers, but a chilling laugh echoes. Smoker hunts the shadows. There she is. The strange woman mocks the little lost rats scurrying about, and mocks Driver, trailing Crow. Neither recognizes this mysterious threat. Smoker sneers. Driver belongs to the boss, so he gets a pass. But Crow, she is her true prey. A wicked smile stretches. Crow orders the guys to push forward. Claiming this fight, Driver offers backup, but Crow brushes him off. It is pure girl talk. Just a quick bloody chat, so the boys better not dare to interfere. Cassian hesitates to abandon her, but Driver calmly notes that she is thrilled. The squad advances. Driver tells her to have fun and play around before catching up. Crow just chuckles as her crew finally vanishes. Smoker's grin widens menacingly. With those annoying obstacles cleared out, they can savor a private bloodbath. Crow scoffs at the word obstacles. Delusional. Those men were not blockades, but her saviors. They spared Smoker from her wrath. But with no one left to hold Crow back, they will clash until someone drops dead. Meanwhile, deep inside the fortress, alarms blaze. Kill intruders on sight. Undeterred, Cassian dashes forward, but a massive mob of thugs blocks their rushing path. B+ rank Sharktooth roars. He orders his gang to mercilessly crush them into dust. In a flash, Cassian vanishes into pure shadows. He wipes out the entire mob in one heartbeat. A blindingly fast kick launches, launching a thug violently into the concrete. Enraged, Sharktooth boasts his tough hide. Those pathetic little punches will not pierce his ironclad body. He vows to snap the hero's neck with one lethal bite. Igniting his prey hunt skill, the protagonist counters flawlessly, wedging a shadow blade right in his jaws. Bounding off the wall is a Frest launchpad. He rockets forward and delivers a devastating knee strike. The brutal impact leaves Sharktooth shattered and bleeding out. The hero lands a final merciless blow, burying the villain's face into the cold floor. A total knockout. Driver praises the flawless execution, while Wu Chan trembles at such raw might. Staring through his mask, he realizes this monster grows stronger daily. Cassian orders them to split, right here. He and the operator will hunt Boxen leaders. Wu Chan must fulfill his true mission and save his sister. Driver pinpoints her basement, cell nearby. The drone locked onto her coordinates, making this rescue a breeze. Fists shaking with deep gratitude. Wu Chan immediately sprints off. Driver admires the fierce sibling devotion, but suddenly, a dark presence looms. An ambush squad swarms them from the rear. So, he orders the team to push forward. He will butcher this small fry alone. Stalling here means fighting an endless horde. Plus, he needs to hold out and wait for Crow's victory. Cassian leaves it all to him. Driver swears he will catch up soon. Standing alone against the mob, he unsheathes his deadly weapon. Time for a very violent chat about everything that has transpired. Cut back to the clash. Smoker hisses, deeply irritated by. She despises being compared from the start, unleashing her toxic breath of transcendent magic. Crow evades the deadly strikes with flawless precision, flipping through the air. Smoker exhales her lethal fumes, but Crow twirls her staff in response. Her ravens shriek, manifesting pure darkness. She unleashes Crow's hide and seek, firing a mysterious projectile. The smoke slowly dissipates. In a flash, Crow vanishes completely. She then slams her weapon down, mocking the weak attack. But just as she asks if that was her enemy's full power, a chilling aura creeps up behind her. She pivots, barely dodging the ambush. However, one of her precious birds takes the hit. Crow whips around, realizing she's trapped within a toxic cloud. Smoker sneers in pity. Inhaling even a fraction of this pitch-black miasma will freeze her blood and incinerate her lungs. She mocks Crow's pathetic state after acting so arrogant, but Crow coldly declares she has committed an unforgivable sin. The very air trembles as Crow unleashes her raging aura. How dare she harm her precious babies? A sacred gift from her one true love. Shocked, Smoker watches her toxic cloud violently disperse. Terrified that a mere Crow possesses such godlike might, Crow vows absolute vengeance, letting her dark power explode. Smoker's fate will now be judged by the way of the Crow. Instantly, a monstrous swarm of ravens devours her. Meanwhile, deep in the villain zone's second basement, Wu Chan sprints desperately toward his captive sister. He realizes his allies paved the way, owing them a massive debt. Clenching the controller, he pushes forward, sensing he is incredibly close. Suddenly, frost blankets the floor. Wu Chan halts instantly. Ice Demon sneers at the newcomer, demanding to know if he belongs to the Gotham faction. Setting a trap here was brilliant, knowing a desperate hero would come for the hostage. Furious, Wu Chan erupts in blazing flames, roaring at the villain to step aside. Ice Demon chuckles, thrilled by this clash of absolute opposites, facing a raging hothead. With Hellfire against his absolute zero is the ultimate thrill. Instantly, both warriors detonate their monstrous auras. Outside, dark wings blot the sky as Smoker screams in agonizing defeat. Up on the 12th floor, Cassian tightens his fists, kicking open the boss's doors. He demands the coward reveal himself. Immediately, pure darkness bleeds into the room. Black Ghost praises his sharp instincts, practically buzzing to meet a fellow master of the shadows. Cassian demands if he kidnapped Non. The boss replies with a smirk, confessing he heavily researched him. Cassian's epic debut was legendary, breaking the sacred taboo of hunting other villains outside the lawless zone. Cassian completely ignored it, crushing his own kind. He became a total public enemy. Even if he died here, nobody would bat an eye. Rising as the heretic king of this villain zone, Kang Wu scoffs at this. Black Ghost mockingly begs pardon for his sarcastic tone, claiming no offense was intended. He genuinely worships his madness. True villains must go insane. They are born outlaws. Yet, a pathetic shadow dweller like himself could never dare to pull off such spectacular chaos. Mora smirks, noting he sounds like an obsessed fanboy. Black Ghost spreads his arms, eager to become just like Cassian, become the absolute dark, just like him. Moros calls him a stalker, and Cassian labels him a twisted freak. Black Ghost smirks, noting this chatter is out of character. So let the bloodbath begin. Cassian sharpens his focus as the assassin praises his lethal close combat skills. Suddenly, multiple sinister clones of the enemy manifest. Cassian squints, suspecting cheap illusions since all four cannot possibly be real. Black Ghost lunges with a deadly cry. Here I come. Cassian scoffs, phantom or flesh. His overwhelming aura will consume them all in one sweep. With lethal intent, he unleashes his shadow blade. The fierce strike knocks Black Ghost backward, but Cassian is relentless. Closing the gap in a single breath, he follows up with a devastating claw attack. But the coward frantically evades, retreating into the void. Cassian mocks, asking if he plans to cower in the shadows forever. Heavy, suffocating smoke floods the room. Cassian admits the rat's evasion speed is top tier. Meanwhile, Black Ghost realizes his prey is dangerously stronger than anticipated. Left with no other choice, he channels a sinister shadow art. A dense mass of dark energy shoots toward a chandelier, obliterating the room's final light source. Suddenly, Cassian is plunged into pitch-black nothingness. Black Ghost launches a cowardly blindside. Yet, Cassian pivots flawlessly. The vile assassin smirks, realizing the hero's vision is severely restricted in this abyss. Cassian tenses, sensing the enemies. Sinister echoes rebounding from every single angle. Black Ghost gloats, claiming they may share shadow powers, but he is a master killer. That previous clash was merely bait. Now, he promises to unleash the true, paralyzing horror of dying blindly in an impenetrable void. Cassian lets out a chilling laugh, echoing the word horror. You know nothing, he growls, of drowning in a bottomless abyss, paralyzed by the agonizing dread of death. Black Ghost flinches in pure shock, feeling Cassian embody the void itself. The hero states he has already tasted death's grip and been reborn, echoing his absolute dominance. He is darkness incarnate. Down on basement level 2 of the Barracuda hideout, Naon grips her iron cell, trembling at the apocalyptic tremors echoing above. A savage war of fire and ice threatens to tear the place apart. Wu Chan weaves through frost blasts, blazing aura roaring from his core. Ice Demon unleashes glacial torrent, but Wu Chan effortlessly evades every lethal shard. He charges forward, an unstoppable inferno. Yet, he curses the lack of openings. The Icy Freak's relentless skill spam proves his deadly combat experience. Ice Demon sneers, mocking his resilience. He expected a reckless hothead. Had Wu Chan charged blindly, ending his life would be far too easy. But now, shattering him into icy dust sounds intoxicating. He asks if Wu Chan feels a thrill when turning foes to ash. The sadistic villain admits Freezing victims is his ultimate high, but instant death is boring. He prefers snapping frozen limbs one by one, savoring their agonizing despair as they're pressed. Bodies turn to solid ice. Yet Wu Chan shatters the frost, roaring at the vile scum, making Ice Demon pause in sudden confusion. Oddly enough, he doesn't detect a single ounce of rage from the man. Wait a second. Rumors claim the captured girl's older brother was just a weak psyker. Wu Chan erupts. How dare you compare me to such pathetic trash? I am Red Mask, the undisputed king of Jam's underworld. He blasts forward, detonating his fiery wrath. Ice Demon instantly summons more, deflecting the icy shards bare-handed and firing them back. Wuan shatters them with raw fists, closing the gap. Flashback. Wuan asks why Cassian pulled him aside. Our main character cuts straight to the brutal truth. The lag between his strikes is fatal. He warns that Wu Chan completely loses his focus mid-battle. He strictly emphasizes that both his battle judgment and reflexes must be sharper. Cassian unleashes dark combustion on a dummy. Wu Chan watches in pure shock. Our hero declares that absolute speed is the core of any combat art. Never give the enemy breathing room to guard. 4. Extreme offense is the ultimate defense. Wu Chan wonders why he is sharing this. Cassian breaks down mana compression, scorching heat, and explosions. The ignition rules for awakened beings defy normal logic. In this brutal world, heroes and villains only exist to evolve. He steps in closer, fiercely, daring him to shatter his limits.